Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Joe Hendry Show. This is Joe Hendry, this is Jabicus, and this is Dave Conrad. I have got some interesting stories.
I'm looking forward to some of these stories.
I had an awesome tour with Fight Forever Wrestling, who were proud sponsors of the podcast as well. And look at this fine piece of hardware
Look at this
in the background.
fat belt. Look at it.
That's a nice belt. That's a nice belt.
I'm quite critical when it comes to belts, and I have to say that's actually quite a nice belt.
It looks like a Decepticon logo.
It does.
Oh, it does, yeah.
It does.
Oh, that's
you can't unsee that. And Gromit is obviously upset about not being on the podcast, so he is going to be squeaking away for a while. So apologies for that, folks. Let's give the sponsors some love, and then let's get right into it. You're going to enjoy this story, guys. But first up is Beer 52. How would you like a free case of craft beer? Well, as a listener to our show, we'd like to thank you for listening with the help of our friends at beer52.com. Just go to beer52.com/Hendry to claim your free case. That's the word beer, number 52.com/Hendry. Now, when I say free case, all I'm going to ask you to pay is for the postage and packaging.
Just the postage?
That's it.
For anything less than that.
I know.
You mean I'm getting postage and packaging?
I know. I was going to say.
both,
I might ask you to pay for one beer, but you know what? I'm not going to do that. I refuse to do that. I refuse to do that. So
Because you're a good guy.
I'm a good guy. So all you got to pay is that £2.95 postage and packaging. Many weeks we've discussed how it may arrive at your door, but the point is it arrives quicker than that Royal Mail nonsense.
Exactly.
Anyway, Beer 52
Science.
is the world's most popular monthly craft beer discovery club, searching out incredible and exclusive small batch craft beers from the world's greatest breweries and bring them back for their members. There's a whole world. A whole new world. As we discussed last week, we're talking about not the Disney version, but the Peter Andre and Katie Price version of A Whole New World.
Christ.
That's the way
There's
we
a Disney version?
apparently.
What?
Apparently with Jasmine and Lad
Ladon?
Anyway, so you'll be able to read all about, probably not about what we're talking about here, but actually about the beers and learn more about how they're made in the 100-page Ferment magazine included in the box, along with your badass snack, which, we had it before. It was the hot chicken wing flavor crisps. It was badass. Anyway, there's no minimum commitment. You can just take the free case, try the beers, see what you think, and if it's not for you, you can pause or cancel at any time because Beer 52 has a 5-star rating on Trustpilot, so it's easy to see why their members love the service. Just call or email if you want to give a little pause-a-roo or a little stop-a-roo on that. Anyway, folks, beer52.com/Hendry. So there you go.
Boom.
Thank you very much. All right, so I'm going to get right into it, folks. So do you know how we've been talking about a certain advertiser who had a certain train?
Yep.
Do you remember?
Oh, God, yeah.
And it was spelled H-O.
The third Santa,
Yeah.
third of a Santa.
Yeah, the third of a Santa train. The whole train. And Jake, for a non wrestling fan, let's explain to what actually
do you know what it is?
No, I don't think he does.
I was going to say, you've been all these weeks, you've been hearing us talk this pitch.
Being like,
Yeah. So basically, there's a wrestler called the Godfather who is a pimp, and he basically just comes to the ring with a selection of ladies of the night, if you will,
Pretty
and
much.
they are collectively referred to as the whole train.
Right, okay.
Which obviously, was acceptable a while ago.
This guy was the tits in the 90s.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, but basically, how they talk about the Attitude Era? So Godfather, we're backstage and Godfather's telling a story about the Attitude Era. We're hearing all about working with The Rock and Stone Cold and
Jesus.
Kane and Undertaker, top of the business. And that thing they talk about when they talk about, getting over in the Attitude Era when The Rock's like, when I was just myself, I got over. Stone Cold was like, all I had to be was myself, but with the volume turned up. Ric Flair was like, I just had to be myself with the volume turned up. That's how I got over. Godfather said the same thing. So wait for this. That's not even the funny bit, right? So basically, you know how, for example, I'm trying to think of a character. Think of a character that was themselves. Like, so Ric Flair was like, that was me. I was,
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to do the accent. I can't do it, but I'm not going to do it right now. But he's, he was the party guy or whatever. But Godfather was like, I can't do his accent either, but just for comedic effect, he was like, in the Attitude Era, when I started getting over, I tried to be this, I tried to be that. The moment I just started being myself, I got over. And I'm thinking, oh, he's going to go to, I'm just like this hard-working, hard-hitting wrestler who's, full of, you're wondering what he's going to say about his personality. He goes, you know what? All I had to be was myself to get over. I'm a fun-loving guy, and I know how to talk to hoes.
Well, that's a man who knows his strengths.
Yeah, he was
You can't put him down for that.
He did. That's what he said. He was like, I'm a fun-loving guy. Well, I know how to talk to hoes.
That's an inspirational story.
And
I've ever heard
actually,
one.
there was a collection of different companies in the locker room. There was WWE stars there, Impact stars, WS stars.
I was gonna say,
and
like-
the collective was, he told us about all his wild days, and all we could think was, wow, this is the Nintendo Switch era of the locker room.
Yeah.
While they were like tearing it up in strip clubs every night, we were playing like Smash Bros and stuff.
Hey, I know exactly what I'd rather be doing.
Yeah, I know.
Smashing bros.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, I wasn't playing Smash Bros. I was that kid that was watching other people play Smash Bros. And I got serious envy. But while we were on the tour bus, the big game that apparently drifted over from the Ring of Honor locker room is this game called Mafia. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I've told you about Mafia so many times.
Dude,
I love Mafia.
dude, we played this for like 4 or 5 hours.
It's amazing, isn't it?
So basically, you get we had 12 people. So in that 12 people, you have townspeople and 3 mafia. So you have to duck your head down. The storyteller gets everyone to duck their head down. He goes, and then the mafia awoke. And then you see who's the mafia, and they can pick off one person.
So the Mafia know who each other are, but the town don't know who the Mafia
So we had one doctor and one doctor and one investigator. So the investigator can ask, "Are you mafia or not?" And
Do you want me to quickly explain the rules?
yeah, go. Are you mafia?
So there's a day-night cycle. So during the day, everyone thinks everyone else is town. All you know is that the town only knows there's 3 mafias.
They're blending in, doing their thing.
And everyone votes to kill someone during the day. Is that the rules you were playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the town
To
collectively
jail. We
lynches.
didn't want to kill jail. But yeah, this should be.
Okay, well, historically, within the game, it's called
you rip their guts.
killing
Mate,
them.
you gotta take.
Okay, let's just say you forcefully remove them from the game in the
Yes,
daytime.
yes.
One person.
They go away for a while.
There's a night cycle where within the night cycle, the mafia does their round, the investigator does their round, and the doctor does their round, all separately. The mafia target kills someone. The doctor can then save someone, but they don't know who the mafia picked. And the investigator can choose someone, and the administrator will tell them whether or not they are mafia.
There were some funny. It made for some funny moments though.
Yeah.
So for example, Sha Samuels was like, "Oh, I trusted you."
That always ends up happening. It's like you always just end up getting so heated because it's like game of deceit and lying.
Oh my!
But the
God.
funniest thing was, so the two. So I would say Sha was one of the most interesting players, but the worst or best, I can't decide which.
That's always the best player.
Yeah.
The best player is the one that you don't know if they're good or bad.
Okay, is Steve Linsky, and I'll tell you why. Right, so I'll give you an example. So they kept putting in they kept switching up by putting in different roles that we hadn't had before.
Yeah.
So we put in one game we had they just put townsperson. They wrote nudist on it, right? So basically, I got the nudist thing. So what I did is after the first round,
What does the news do?
they didn't explain. They just put.
he just runs a bit with his bob
So
hanging.
basically, we're on the tour bus, and the moment that they put us to sleep, I took my t-shirt off, right? And Steve Linsky burst out laughing, right? So I'm like, well, he must be mafia, right? And he wasn't even mafia.
He was just looking.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, hee, hee, hee. And every time they would go mafia rise, he was opposite me and he'd just nudge me like that. And he was like a townsperson. But then when he actually was mafia, everyone was like, all right, well, fair enough. So he actually got killed first 6 games in a row just because
because everyone's not sure.
Yeah, just because. But see how I was with the Monopoly game. That's exactly how I was with Mafia.
I was going to say
Dude, you should see me in Mafia.
Dude.
I'm a competitor.
Yeah.
I want to play this
I was
game.
literally I I know who 2 of the Mafia members are, and I'm going to tell you why. But Doctor, you need to save me for the next turn.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
all
hope?
that nonsense.
I hope this becomes a mainstay in all the locker rooms.
Well, do you know what? We need to play it on stream.
I want to
I
play
have
this.
said this to you. I think about a year ago.
You
I
did.
said
I will give you
we
that. You
have to
did.
play Mafia.
But let's be honest, Jake. We do know that you are the guy that will say things that we will be not agreeing with until we realize you're right.
Yes. Yeah.
It's always
What he
That's
said.
my life.
What he said.
pretty much what happens. We're like, nah, and then it turns out you're right, and then we're like, yeah, you were right, man. I want
We
to. I
said
want
we
to play
weren't going to
this.
bring
Dude,
up
it
the
is- it
French
is
show, okay?
badass.
Like, we
It-
said
So
we
what do you
weren't-
need for it? What do you need for it to play? Just nothing.
So you need 12. Well, how
Yeah,
many
you need like a good amount
Yeah.
of people. Like,
Is that all you need? Just 12 people.
I'd say
many
12
people-
people is like a good amount.
Yeah. How many could we get away with?
You need 3 Mafia.
So
At
you need
least.
minimum
So for 3 Mafia, you're probably going to need like
You need
6 towns.
mafia, doctor. So you need a mafia, a
Doctor.
3
doctor.
Mafia, a doctor, an investigator, and then you need the
So that's
random
5.
town.
And then you need how
I
many
would say
townspeople can you
9
get away with?
minimum.
9
Yeah.
minimum? Yeah, 4 times people would be alright.
So, but by the end, I got townsperson every single time.
Oh, really?
And by the end of playing this, like I've started to figure out like strategies to get people. And one thing I would do is, so for example, there were like wee strategies that I picked up, and I actually looked up on Wikipedia to see mafia strategies, and it said basically if you play honestly, like it depends how many games you're playing. If you can sacrifice like one game, like literally one of the strategies, and this is like being a bit of a douche. I didn't do it, but one of the strategies is if you're mafia to just not deny it. Do not deny that you're mafia. Don't say you are mafia, but don't deny it. And the reason is you can turn around and go, well, I didn't lie, did I? So then from then on you can choose to just like deceive people all the time. Wait, what's that?
That's my phone. Gadget phone.
That's louder.
That's worse. I've made it worse.
Yeah. Maybe just give it a wee pap.
Is there a
This.
silent
Hold on,
mode?
hold on. Oh, that's
There we
gone
go.
now. It's totally gone now.
Um,
But I want to play this.
Dude, you gotta play
So
it.
like
so
there's
badass.
an online version.
Oh, right.
Town of
Ooh.
Salem, which I have like 100 hours in.
Really?
Nah,
What's
I
it like
need-
a video game?
Yeah, it's a video
Oh
game
my
that is
God.
Mafia.
Nah, I need to do the real one first because I'll
It
be
is not-
spoiled.
Did you play it online with other people? Yeah.
I'll be spoiled if I do that
There's
one first.
loads of roles. So within the Mafia, you have like 5 different roles. You have the Godfather, who's the ruler,
Oh,
and
mate.
he chooses who to kill. But then you also have the Mafioso, who is the one who goes out to kill. So the Godfather is immune. So if like,
Right.
so you also have like town defense roles, like a bodyguard,
Tower
and a
defense,
bodyguard will go on a guy, and if the Mafia goes to kill him, the bodyguard will die, but he'll also kill the Mafia. And you have stuff like that.
Ah.
It's a suicide.
So
And
it,
there's
like,
loads of different roles. And even within like the investigator, you have the investigator, then you have like a sheriff. And the thing with the investigator is it doesn't tell you if they're mafia or not. It just gives you 3 roles that they could potentially be. One of which
that's
is always mafia.
that's cool.
the
So-
investigator looks like it'd be fun,
see,
man.
But
Town
see
is
having-
always the most fun.
see
The investigator,
having-
like-
I think Mafia's fun.
Nah,
Just
you
see-
just
see
see once
having-
you've played it enough, Town's
Well,
more fun.
see having like pro wrestlers like do it though. It was so funny. Like having Zach Gibson as a storyteller. I'm gonna try and do his accent. Sorry, Zach, but he was like, "There's been an attempt on Joe Hendry's life." And he's defended himself with his ankle lock. Like just like,
It's best if you do some role playing with it.
yeah,
Like,
oh no,
it's
we did
always
that.
so
I
fun.
took it way too far and then forgot the rules of the game.
Well, we've
and I
been-
was like, "Oh, it's a post-apocalyptic society. There's only 12 of us left. How will humanity survive in times of this awful wilderness? Of course, there will be those that will use it as an opportunity to grasp power. Those are known as the mafia, and those of them there were 3." But it was not to be revealed. I was like totally going nuts.
And they're like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
They're
pretty
like,
much.
Joe, we're just in a town. There's mafia.
Mate, we're
invading
just
the
in
town.
Do you know what's funny as well? The people who are really bad at lying, like Bilal is just terrible at lying. He's like, bro, I'm telling. Like when he's telling the truth, he's like, I
Bro,
swear.
I'm telling you, bro. I was at the Witherspoons.
I was
and
at
they-
the Wither. Oh
they-
no, I turned into Donald Trump to do Vince Russo there. I was at the Witherspoons. Unbelievable, bro. I was at the Witherspoons in China. China. It was unbelievable, bro. He's a good man. Gromit just added in a little bark there.
Roman agrees.
Yeah.
No, Mafia is amazing.
I'm
It is so good.
I'm giving this
Love it.
shit a try.
You gotta see it.
It sounds fun.
We got to figure
I mean,
out how to do
if
this
you
on the
enjoyed
stream.
Mafia, then the next step to do is to finally agree and play Spyfall with me.
Spyfall, what's that?
And then you just go into real
game,
mafia.
That's the game where it's like you can play with a minimum of 4 people, where
Okay.
one person's a spy,
Okay.
and 3 people are innocent.
Ooh.
And you're given a list of locations, and one of the locations is selected each round. And each innocent is given a role within that location. So,
Okay.
for example, if the location is school, the innocent, some of the roles might be teacher, student, visitor.
Oh, you've
Spy,
told me about
yeah,
this.
I've told you about this. The
You've
spy
told me about this, yeah.
doesn't know what the location is. If the spy guesses the location, they win. And you take it in turns asking each other questions. So I would say, Joe, how's the food in this location? And if you're a teacher, you might say, oh, I don't pay attention to the school. Sorry, I don't pay attention to the food. I bring my own lunch. And I'd be like, okay, that doesn't give the spy too much information.
So
and
you
it's this
just-
game of getting the, like, sort of, you need to get a response that makes me go, right, you're innocent, but at the same time, the spy's thinking, wait, what the fuck is this location?
Right,
And you got to sort of, like, spin questions to make them think it's a different location, you know?
In one of these games of Mafia, we'd, like, again, I'm not going to do the accent, but Zach Gibson had decided that he'd let us know that we had rid the town of the Mafia once again, and he says, but one of you has decided to resurrect his own one-person Mafia. And he's like, each of you will raise your head, and he says, if you get a thumbs down, you are not that Mafia member. If you get the thumbs up, and then so there was, I think, 5 of us left, and the challenge was for one Mafia member to kill everyone off.
That's
I've been
awesome.
towns every single time, so when I raise my head, I'm looking at him with puppy dog eyes, like, please let me do it. Let me Mafia was. So he gives me Mafia, right? And so it's me, Millie McKenzie, Kip Sabian, one of the guys from Fight Forever and Bilal left, right? I can't even remember Bilal's pro wrestling name. Someone help me out here. God damn it, I can't remember. Anyway, I probably shouldn't have just admitted that on I will. Sorry,
You
Bilal.
just know him so much.
I know him so
You know
well.
him so well as himself.
I do.
That you cannot see him in his wrestling
That's
ego,
it,
alter
that's
ego.
it.
Yeah.
So basically,
I got you, man. I got
so the first thing is he was like the only person that was suspicious of me from the get go of the game because I would tend to be like the most vocal of the group, but because I'd never been Mafia, I wasn't expecting it. And when he told it was like my heart was just like totally beating, and I was like, chill out, man, chill out, bro. And then so the first thing I did when I got up is I just stared at Bilal. Like, because he's such a terrible liar, and I just kept staring at him, and I was just like, and then he was like, no, it's not me, and I got to kill one person per round, and then I was like, and one of the guys from Fight Forever had kind of crossed his arms before when he had been Mafia. Ooh. There was Kip Sabian left, who's like, he's good at the game. Millie's brilliant at the game as well. Like Millie, you just don't know when she's telling the truth or not. So there's like 5 of us left, and the first order of business is I'd said something, I can't remember what I'd said, but I'd managed to convince them to go for, to get rid of one of the guys from Fight, I think it was Chris from Fight Forever. So, because he'd cross his arms again, I was like, I don't know, dude, I don't know. And then so we put him in jail. I killed Bilal because he was my most vocal critic, but I'm left with 2 of the best players in the game, which was Millie. And
See, your one mistake was killing Bilal.
Why?
Because he sounds like the most suspicious person. You never kill the most suspicious person.
No, but wait for it. So it was me, Millie, and Kip, and then at some point, I heard Millie just go, because I was looking at Kip, I was like, he knows, man, he's gonna get me. And Millie just turned around, I don't know, and she was like, oh, should we just get Kip? And then he says, right, a vote. And then I just put my hand right up for Kip to see if she'd follow, and she did. And then I was like, you're dead.
When you get into that 1v1
Yeah.
at the end, and you're just like, success.
And the thing is, they made us go through the steps, so even though there was 2 of us left, so she knew it was me. It was like, and they fell asleep. It was just like, no.
Yeah, that's the best bit. See on the game, there's a role called a veteran.
Yeah.
And the veteran is town, and he's a town killing. So every night, he has 3 turns where he can do it, and at night he can choose to raise his gun, and if someone visits him, he kills them. So I've had multiple games where I'm the Mafia, and the last is just me and a veteran. And if you go too many rounds without killing, the town wins. So
Right.
it's like a mind game where it's like I gotta psych him out to use his 3, and I don't know how many he's used before then and stuff like that. And it just ends
that's
up in
good.
this ridiculous mind game.
But
and it's the best.
do you know what the crazy thing
that
was,
game.
though? We literally played, so the first 2 days of the tour, the banter levels were a little bit lower, right? But the last 2 days of the tour, it was literally every waking second that we were on the bus. On the way back, in the hotel, like at the bar, like all we were doing was just playing this Mafia game. Like we
It's so fun.
We put in so many hours, and it was just like I've never been that captivated by a party game before. It was amazing.
Do you want to know how I discovered Mafia?
How?
It was a StarCraft 2 mod. Someone made Mafia within StarCraft 2.
Wow,
It was amazing.
There you go.
The StarCraft 2 modding scene was unreal.
I need to get StarCraft 2. Speaking of which, of getting games, I've been debating back and forth.
I've seen this.
But I mean, I have been tweeting about it. I've been speaking to wrestlers. When I make a purchase, it's a big deal. It's
Yeah.
a big deal. But I have found a Nintendo. I sent it to the group. I've got a Nintendo Switch, including Mario Odyssey, Smash Bros, and Mario Kart for £334.
See, I saw that deal and I was like, I might buy that deal.
I am thinking I might go and get that.
Just do it, man.
You know what the thing is, man? If you buy it,
Am I going to regret it?
yeah, and the odds are you're gonna go no.
Well, do you know what? Here's the thing for all my listeners out there. Well, all of our listeners, sorry.
So they're your listeners.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well,
I get it. They're just
sorry,
here for the
I'm
Joe
sorry,
Hendry
I'm
show, right?
I'm sorry. Basically, I'm gonna try and sell my 3DS. But this is what I'm gonna do. So I've got like 10 games or something, right? I'll read you the games I got.
Read off the list of the games.
So here we go.
Because I feel like if you're going to, because I seen a thing on Twitter that you put out.
Yeah, that was me kind of just testing the
waters,
old water.
and I kind of agree with the consensus of the other people. I used to work in game, and it's like the trading values are just like.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
no.
Right, so here we go.
that shit.
So a 3DS XL with Mario Kart 7, Smash Bros, Star Fox, Zelda, Pokemon Omega Ruby, Sonic Generations, Street Fighter Turbo, and Resident Evil Mercenaries. And a carry case, right? All of
And
that-
a carry case?
And a carry case.
Wait, is that you? Not yours?
Yeah. What?
Wait, so what was your opinion on Pokemon Omega
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Ruby? Red.
What?
So Generation 3 remake.
What's your point?
You said they were shit.
I don't know.
You said the third generation of Pokemon were shit. That is the third generation. That's a remake.
Actually, to be fair, the game was good, but the Pokemon in it were a bit.
Like who?
Well, I can't remember.
Give me some goddamn names right now.
Well, there's the one that's a chandelier.
I was about to say
That's not from that generation.
Chandelier-mon.
That's not from that
Dildamon,
generation.
I was gonna say,
That's
isn't
from a
that when it
different
started to get a bit?
Chewing gummamon, you know. Climbing wallmon.
Mafia mod.
Cigaramon.
I was gonna say.
Oh, by the way, have you guys seen the clip of when they rolled up a bit of paper to look like a certain substance when I fell asleep on the tour bus?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is
Yeah.
That was funny.
yeah.
That was a great rip.
I was gonna say that's a great rib. You know what I like about that rib is it's harmless.
Yeah.
You know, I hate the ones where it's like,
Only joking.
stole your boots, bro, and it's like, oh great, cool. I guess I'll just go out and no boots.
Yeah.
Or what's the other ones like?
It's
we
like-
thought you put the belt in a suitcase.
And well, the thing is, I was getting slagged off as well because when I went to sleep, right, I knew something was coming. I was like, I'm too tired though. So what I did is I tied the belt, like, so I clipped the belt together at the back, put it round my arm, and put my hand in my pocket, right, because I know the first thing that's going to happen is somebody's going to try and take the belt.
Yeah.
Right. And then when I woke up, they were slagging me off for like sleeping with the belt and all that. and I'm like, no, because I knew that was coming, and they were saying it was. And Shah was like, you know what? That's so ridiculous. I actually believe you. And I was like, how is it ridiculous? You filmed me and put fake drugs in my mouth.
You ruined my
I know.
reputation.
Do you know if that
Should
happened?
sue.
If that had happened a few years ago, I'd have been like, "That's my career's over."
Yeah.
I know,
My career's over.
you've
Do
listened
you know
up
what
a
it
lot.
was?
Like, no, you say a few years ago. That's still in the back of your head.
Do you know what it is? Do you know? Do you know what it was? It was a Subway napkin because I could see the Subway logo on it. But the thing is, like, they were saying, the funny thing is, like, I don't even smoke, like, at all. Not even cigarettes. But the thing is, I don't know what I was trying to do. It was just like, I just kept going, I just kept moving it up and down.
I thought you were like waking up and you were going along with it.
Yeah, I thought you were like eating it or something.
Yeah, I thought you were going along with it for a laugh.
Oh, that was a reflex.
Oh my god, dude! Have you ever tried smoking?
Bro, I'm not going to answer that on the podcast.
Not weed, you
Jesus,
fool,
what?
just in general.
I I actually can't remember. I think I may have tried a cigarette once.
I've puffed on a cigarette once, and I was like, I can see why people would get addicted to it, but I was just like, I feel like I'm gonna die. I was like, I'm killing myself. You know, like if you go into like an area in a video game that's got like toxic gas, and your character's just
Your
like
health bar slowly going down.
yeah, it's just or if you get poisoned or something in an RPG, and it's just your health goes down every turn. I just felt like that was gonna happen.
Trying to walk your Pokemon back to the center when it's poisoned, the screen just goes like.
Yeah, I was just like, that's what's gonna happen to me. In terms of when it comes to weed and stuff, I can't be near it without getting like a killer headache. Honest to God, like. So I've never tried it for that reason, because I'm like, even being around like the smell of it, I'm just like, oh my God. Like,
Drugs are bad, bro.
Yeah,
Don't do drugs.
drugs are trouble. I had a RoboCop toy that said that.
Do you know, that reminds me of the, I'm not going to say which religion it is, but you'll know what I'm talking about. A certain religion made some very funny anti-drug videos. And there's one where it's like, don't do weed. And the person's like, ah! And like tearing apart their room and like throwing the TV about, like destroying the place. And it's like...
I always just love the Harold and Kumar bit, like the bit in Harold and Kumar where like they're watching TV and they're getting high and like this anti-weed PSA comes on and they're like, these two kids are in his dad's office and he's like, dude, I'm so high, watch me get my dad's gun. And he's like, he goes, look at this. It's like, don't do drugs.
That's actually what these adverts are like. And they're obviously made by someone who has, and I'm talking about some real ads. There's one, there's literally, it's got like a kid and it's like, he tried meth one time. It was the last time. And they show you the kid. And in the video, the kid is literally like 5, like in primary school.
I was gonna say it's like those. It's like the PSA things that we watched. Like,
but
some of those are
some of them
awful.
are well done, but some of them are just terrible.
What was the
most are terrible?
What was the one that was like it's like the alcohol one where the kids are sitting there and their parents. And the parents,
I remember that on TV.
Oh, that gets me. Man.
I remember when
that makes the hair stand up on my arm. It's not called Monsters.
I can't remember, but it was like, how do your kids see you or something like that? And you're just like,
how your kids see you when you're drunk.
Sort of thing.
I was just like, holy shit, that was bad.
There's a few ads that I remember from a kid that kind of freaked me out a little bit. But see, I just want to finish this one thing. I want to say, so see the 3DS with all those games. Sorry. So that 3DS XL, carry case, all those games, 2 t-shirts from the store in your size, and 4, so all 4 signed pictures. So the Bohemian Rhapsody one, Pokemon, and the 2 different promo pictures. So the 4 of those photos, the 2 t-shirts from the store in your size, all those games, and the 3DS XL. I'm thinking of papping that up for any offer 150 quid or above.
I was going to say, start it at 150 and then...
Yeah. I'm gonna say any offer of 150 quid or above.
Who wants
sign
it?
the 3DS?
Would that add value?
I don't know.
I'll sign the 3DS
if you want.
There you go. But I suppose they're going to.
I'd offer to sign it too, but
I'm pretty Smash Bros. Save file. If they're a fan of me, they'll know exactly how I got on.
They're like, Joe.
If you're a fan of mine, you can look at which party I had in Pokemon.
Joe plays as Pichu.
Do you remember?
No, but I had like some legendary stuff.
Alright. What star did you go with?
I can't remember. All the starters then are just like, they look like...
just shut up, dude!
The starters in the later games look like actual starters that you would get at a restaurant.
Give me an example. Because obviously...
I can't remember what they're called.
Mudkip, Torchic, and Trico are 6 stars.
Shut up.
They're 6 stars. What? Oh, a little lizard with fire on its tail? A fucking turtle?
That's iconic,
Squirrel's just a turtle, man.
It is iconic.
Bulbasaur is literally a plant.
Mate.
Squirrel had cool shades that look like Bret Hart shades, okay?
Yeah.
So,
And mate,
that was only the Squirrel Squad.
I don't give a fuck.
With this chat, I think you need to watch some of those PSAs, man. Put your dad's shotgun down.
Speaking of PSAs, I was led to believe I was going to be offered a lot of free drugs at school, but not once was I offered free
I know. It's like, if a man comes to you and offers you this, don't take it. And I'm just like...
It's like, no, that's not how it works. What happens is, like, they'll be like, do you want to buy drugs? And if you go like, oh, I thought you were going to give them to me for free. Like,
right.
Why the fuck would I do that?
I get this. So
why the fuck would I just give you my drugs for free?
So wait a second. So really what you're telling us is on the episode when you were talking about that little business that you had in school, when you sold gobstoppers.
Dude, I was like 12.
Really? Really, they
I was
were
12.
sleep stoppers.
You're they were life stoppers, mate.
They were pain stoppers. Speaking of which, I actually watched Brass Eye, the drugs episode this morning. Have you ever seen it?
What's that?
Have you ever seen Brass Eye?
No.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch it. It's basically like a satirical news program. So, like, they interview celebrities. It's a bit like Ali G in Borat, but like they interview them about like drugs and you know, like animals. There's one on sex, and you know, there's the infamous one as well. And they get them to like sign up to stuff like they should have no business sign up. So they actually got a member of parliament to hold up like this disc, like this size.
Yeah, it's like they say a drug is like this big. It's
yeah, they're
cake.
like this new drug called cake, and they've got like Rolf Harris, before it was discovered that he was a beast, was basically they got him to speak on it. He's like, this drug here, cake, is getting. He was like, it is resulting in people with inflamed necks, giving them what's known as check neck. It was like stuff like that.
They got Gary Lineker as well.
I know. One of so in the episode where they're like talking about online predators, they're like one predator managed to get this child through the monitor. One child's even almost completely 2D.
I think all these celebrities like saying this as though it's real.
Didn't that happen though? Didn't people used to do that on Twitter with people? Did Hogan not get caught
they
with
did. They
one?
did a Hulk Hogan one.
What was the one Hogan got caught with?
Oh, I think it was
Or caught out with?
They got him to like, it was like, can I get a shout out for my granddad's birthday? And
Was it all like Peter Tobin or something?
I was like Joseph Fritzl or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like that.
something like that. And he gives out the big shout out on Twitter, and everyone's like, "Oh shit!"
I can't remember what it was, but
God,
there was one of the other things that really made me laugh in the thing. It was like, basically they plotted a graph, and it was like, if you take the amount of animals that are killed in the UK and plot it along this graph of how many people get upset by that, the data is almost too difficult to read. But if you swap the data for giraffe heads on a pole, something interesting starts flashing. The word animal starts flashing.
The show's like so ahead of its time. It has like perfect like 2018, like 2017 humor.
There's a bit where it's like, and we used our secret methods to obtain this information. And on the diagram, it just goes, stole from window.
I think the paedophilia one's the best. Like that's definitely one of the
It is
funniest.
the best, but
Like,
I can't actually believe that aired. Like if you
I
watch
can't believe
it's
those
a
words
tough
just left
watch.
your mouth.
It is a tough watch, basically.
The Brass Eye episode,
So what
for
happened was this
clarification.
episode. It was episode 1 of season 2.
So it's a wee bit established.
A whole season of this to go, and they showed that one episode. And I remember watching it live as a kid. I was like 12 or something watching that, right? And it was like, that's it, banned off TV, and that killed. Is it Chris Morris? Is that his name?
No idea.
I think it is. That killed his career dead. And I mean, it was hilarious, but it was so controversial.
It was funny.
It was like,
Where it's like they show like CCTV footage, just like,
Oh, yeah, it was
this
like
this pedophile has disguised himself as a school, and it's just this massive
As a
school,
school.
like just like rolling down the road. Or like when they talk
do you
about how
remember
there was
the-
like the
the
most
robot one?
infamous.
Do you remember? So basically, like, there was one that they tried to kill and they couldn't, and then he like rebuilt himself as a robot, and it's just like this transformer, like just walking through the playground.
There's the most infamous pedophile ever, and so they send him to space, and he's like on a rocket. He's like, but little did we know, a child had somehow stowed away on the on the ship.
A
as
reporter
the
said,
ship's going up,
yeah.
and you can hear it's like.
And it goes, a reporter said, "This is the last thing we wanted to happen." But like, there's one bit that's so crazy. It's like, here's a reconstruction of what happened, but if you replace her with a 26-year-old woman, this is what it would have looked like. And it just shows like them going at it. And it's just like, oh my god! And that was in the 90s, man. That was in the 90s, yeah, but that absolutely killed his career dead.
Wow.
But did you know that, what's Shaun of the Dead guy called again?
Simon Pegg.
He played one of the pedos in it.
Wow.
He's one of the pedos at the end when Chris Morris brings his son in. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
He's like, well, do you like him then? He's like, well, no, I don't. He's like, liar.
He gets offended that the paedophile's not into his son.
It's like that other shit. What's that one that was just recent with Sacha Baron Cohen? What was it called? Fuck's it? You know the one?
Oh, Who's America?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Jesus.
It's like that shit. Well, didn't that literally didn't a politician have to resign from his job because of that?
Well,
was that
rightfully
not
so.
the-
Rightfully so, 'cause he
Rightfully
was-
so.
Yeah, that
'Cause he
was
was
the one with the
suing-
ass, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. He was like, God bless America. He was like running at him with his ass.
Oh no, the one
I remember that.
where they try and like say you got to pretend to be like a Chinese tourist to take a
I
picture
know.
under.
Don't do the impression. Don't.
I'm not gonna, but that was just the
That was so
cringiest
bad.
thing ever.
Do you remember when he tried to get O.J. Simpson at the very end of it? Have you seen that one? You
never
haven't
seen
seen
that
that?
one,
He's like, oh, he's dressed up as like this Italian fashion designer, and like the woman played his girlfriend comes in, and they like have an argument, and he's like, oh, you know how it is. Sometimes you want to just go.
Oh no!
He's like, you know.
Oh no!
And he literally tries to get him to admit to it on the camera.
Dude, what the fuck would have happened if he had done?
But it's just he keeps doing it. He keeps going, ah! And like OJ's like laughing at that. He's like, no, I didn't do it. He's like, come on.
Oh my god!
That's like exactly like that Lemmy sketch with like the guys.
The wink at the
Yeah,
end.
the wink, where it's like a press conference where a guy whose like life has gone missing. And Lemmy's just like, I have a question. For the audio listeners, it's like a nice nod and a yeah.
Yeah.
And then as he walks out, he's just like,
Yeah, he
Winks
winks
to him.
back to him. He's
He's
like,
like,
I
I tell you what, some of those fucking crime documentaries are weird though, man. You ever watch some of them?
which ones?
Like the ones where they're like the missing child story, and then it's like it turns out to be like the parents that done it or whatever. And
It's always the parents.
but when you watch it back and you're looking at it now and you're like, how did it take them so long to figure
Right,
it out?
I'll tell you what, right? How on God's green earth are the McCanns in the position they are?
Oh,
Like,
don't
it's-
get me
it's
started on
insane, yeah.
McCann's.
Listen, we've talked about it at length, but like, let's not get into the whole conspiracy theory.
No,
and all
you've
that.
got me started,
But
mate.
the thing is, it's like, see,
Aliens came down, right?
See, even if they're innocent, why are you releasing books about it and
Yeah.
all that stuff? It's just like, stop it.
Yeah,
Stop,
let's put it this
stop
way.
profiting off of it.
I'm not saying that they absolutely were the ones that done it. They
fault,
are
though.
very well connected and are very
yeah.
aware of
It
what
doesn't.
happened.
You don't have to look into it very,
No, you
very
don't.
far to see where the cracks start falling. They actually like, and the thing is, it's like she released a book, and she says, let's not say what it is, but she says some really dodgy stuff in the book. She says
Oh,
something that's just like,
fuck, aye.
what? She says something that's just what?
She says
And then-
dodgy shit in that book,
Yeah,
like fucking.
She says that, but she also they talk about a friend that they have. Who and that again?
Yep.
Let's not go too far into it. But basically, in her book, she says the first person that she went to see after it all happened, the first person they went to visit as a family was, I think it was like, is it Clement Freud or something
Yeah,
like that?
he
Who
lived like- he lived like
who
5 houses down or
Who
something.
then got done for being a predator. you
Yeah.
know? Who like but it was not at the time of releasing the book, so it's like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know, I mean, what are the odds of that? I don't know. I'm just saying. Like,
it's-
let's-
Even if everything they say is right, like why are you leaving your kids in a room on
yeah,
locked?
it's like so. What about all the
in a
people?
foreign country? Like why are you locking your
but
children?
because- yeah, so
in a
it's like
room
you
on
think
their
it's
or
acceptable.
not locking your children in a room on their own.
the thing is, it's even if, again, the very fact that there's not been treated with suspicion bothers me.
Well, there's a lot. One theory is that the
If that were anybody else,
yeah, they'd be in jail.
They'd have
for
been in jail
negligence.
for
Yeah.
negligence, but they would have been arrested as a prime suspect immediately.
Yeah, something's weird about that. But I just don't like the fact that they're writing books.
Yeah,
and
see, I
all
don't
this
like that.
crap.
You know what it reminds
It's
me
just
of? It's when people do that shit, it pisses me off, right? So, remember the controversy, I don't know if it was this year or last year, I can't remember, this year's been a big blur to me, but when, what's his name, the guy on YouTube, Logan Paul, did the Suicide Forest thing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I'm going to do an apology about it. Knowing full well that this apology was going to get millions and millions of views.
Yeah.
And the cunt monetized it. And I'm like, you piece of shit. I was like, you're going to monetize an apology for you literally going and being like, this guy killed himself. And it's like, you're just profiting more and more off of it.
Yeah.
You fucking piece of shit. And I was just like, You know what I mean?
And then everyone was outraged, and then he went to go fight KSI, and everyone forgot.
And then look what happened. He profited off of that as well, the cunt, right? But that's what I'm saying with the McCanns. They're like, oh well, this, that, next. Let's just make a book. How many books have they got now? Just the one. They've got at least one.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It just
Just
it just doesn't sit well.
I don't like it. Yeah.
And I think everyone feels that way.
It's just,
you know, it's like that. You know that South Park episode where at the end they're just like, and thank God that we don't have to say murderer, and then it just shows the picture of like the parents of the person in that episode.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, I mean, fucking hell, that's nasty. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, my God, that went down.
That went down a wee bit of a rabbit hole. That was fine though.
Did,
I think we handled that with.
Was that heater on?
It is not
roasting in this room. Absolute
What?
roasting.
What are you roasting? I'm cold.
By being roasted.
By being roasted, mate. Oh man.
How do you move on after that?
I was gonna say that's a deep conversation there, but I'll tell you what I want to talk about. I want to discuss, if you don't mind, a little bit of the most recent UFC event. I watched. Was it UFC 231?
Yeah,
231, and I watched a little bit of that. And I have to say, I was impressed by a lot of things. There was a lot of things I was impressed by.
To be honest, I think that most of our listeners probably. I think we'd be better off doing like actual MMA podcasts. I don't want to get too deep into it. I think we should touch. So, if you don't mind, I think we should cover the main event.
We'll touch. Are
Yeah.
you cool covering the two main events? Or the co-main as well, because I did enjoy. I'll say one thing about that.
Okay, go for it.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk deserves a ton of respect. A ton of respect. Because I honestly, me along with I'm sure a lot of others, thought she was going to get absolutely destroyed.
So, you know, have you ever seen like the MMA Don't Be a Bully videos where it's like got the woman with the bald head and it's Rose Namajunas and there's this girl like just talking smack to her for months and months, basically bullying her, and then she goes, it's basically the anti-bullying video.
Right. Basically.
It goes round. So Joanna Jędrzejczyk is the woman in that.
But she basically, I think she's learned that, you know, you need to shut your gig. And
can't be a roast.
The main event though, like, again, massive respect to Ortega. I think Brian Ortega is. I knew that Max Holloway was going to win. I think everybody that's...
See, I didn't. I thought Ortega was going to win.
Nah, man. Everybody going about and going like, oh, Ortega this. And I was like, mate, there's levels to it. We've seen this before. You know, we see this all the time. And it's like, Ortega is he's a very good striker. He's unbelievably good jiu-jitsu. The problem is, Max Holloway is just, again, he's next level.
He is.
I think Max Holloway of today could give Conor a run.
So, I mean, personally, like, Ortega took more significant shots, I think, than any other fighter in UFC history.
Yeah.
So he got punched more times than anyone has ever got punched in a fight. And
he won.
No, he didn't.
No, he lost.
Okay.
I think Max Holloway threw nearly 500 significant strikes and landed well over 200 of them.
That's insane.
No, just over. He landed about, I think it was a 54% hit rate of significant strikes. So he threw about, I think it was like 460
Did
odds.
Ortega not take? I thought it was like 140 something he took or something like that.
That might have been one round.
I can't. Oh Jesus! I can't remember what it was, but like he got pieced up.
I couldn't even
Badly.
get punched like half of one punch by
so
these
man, and the
guys.
thing is, it's like you don't realize like how hard they're punching until have you ever like heard it when the commentators aren't talking? And
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like. Ugh.
You don't notice it until they go back to their corners and you get a close look at them and you're like, and you can hear when the fans go, when they see it and it's just like, the eye is just, oh, it's now not an eye anymore. It's now just a giant ball of purple. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, for him to keep going, like, no, because, I mean, he would have known. He'd have known within the first 2 rounds that he was like,
he wasn't
this is going to be a long night.
I've been there and it sucks, man. Like, when you're fighting a fight and you know you're not going to win, like, it's just to overcome that. Well, it's tough, man.
Like, the problem, I think if he'd have got it, I was really hoping that they would go to the ground. I really wanted to see what would happen there, because there was one point where they did go down, and he almost reversed Max into a heel hook or like a leg lock.
Yeah.
It came very close, and Max was like right out.
Yeah.
And he played the game right. But it just shows there really is levels to it, man.
So basically, John Kavanagh, who's Conor McGregor's coach, is basically saying, I need to be convinced to coach Conor again, because he's saying he took a shot from Khabib in that fight that he's like, he's got 2 kids and a wife. He doesn't need to fight. So
That's true.
He's like, unless it was like Nate Diaz or a fight that made sense, there's no point. And I think he's right, man.
Yeah.
I think for Conor, it's like, see when he won that Floyd, see when he had that, they got the Floyd Mayweather fight? after that, what's if you don't have like a reason, like a real reason to fight, then you're not going to put in the same work that these other guys are. You're just not. Like the thing is, he's set up for life. So that's
the whiskey thing, man. Like that on its own is going to make him millions, millions on its own. That's just a whiskey, and it's like that combined with any other things he's going to do, combined with fighting, combined with anything else. It's like the guys, the Mac Life, dude, the Mac Life is his company. It's like, so that's doing all this media stuff, like news coverage. It's like the guy is a mogul. He is the definition of a mogul.
I'll tell you what though, it is. See MMA fans so fickle, man.
Oh,
they're literally just like,
oh fuck, guy
loses like one fight and they're like, shit. You know what I mean?
Well, that was the thing. That was the what do you call it? The fucking the narrative after Jacek's loss. Yeah. They were like, oh, 3 in a row, she's done, retire, and I'm like,
title fights.
Like, dude, she lost title fights to the two best in the world at those divisions. It's like, come on.
Yeah, like with a lot of competition, and especially within like combat sports. If you're not at the top, like, you're no one.
It's like me going to fight DC.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave, you lost to DC 3 times. You should just quit. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, it's silly. Like, you're not talking about anything at that level. Like, oh, Conor got beat by Khabib. You're like, yeah, but nobody has beat Khabib. Conor's the first guy to take a round from him. You know?
True, yeah.
So anyone to sit there and go, oh, that Conor's shite. It's like, fuck off, mate. Fuck off.
It's a dumb viewpoint.
Fuck off.
I want to get your guys' opinion on something. So I've been catching a little bit of flack from some fans recently. Not lots, but what I've been doing recently is, it was a difficult decision, I'm just going to try and explain this to people from a wrestler's point of view, right? I think what people don't realize is that and a lot of wrestlers, and to be honest, most of the wrestlers on the scene that I know make probably if the same, if not more, from merchandise than they do from their fees. And when we have our prime selling opportunity is before the show, interval, and sometimes after the show. So a lot of the time, fans want to come up and chat and stuff like that, which is awesome. You know what I mean? Like, we really appreciate the support, but there are times when it's like, those times are our prime time that we need to sell merch, you know? So I don't mind having a chat and stuff like that, but there are some times where we need to, if somebody's wanting a chat and somebody is wanting to buy something for those 15 minutes, you kind of have to prioritize the person that wants to buy something, you know?
Agreed, yeah.
But that's just never going to come across well, you know? So this is what I've done because I was realizing I was getting to the end of interval and I was losing sales, and I was like, you know, I don't want to just, like, see, now I'm in a place where, so I'll tell you what I've done. What I've done is basically, because what will happen is you could have literally in an interval have 50, 60 people come up and ask you for a photo, which is fine, but that's going to take the whole interval and you're not going to sell anything if it's just that. So this is my thing. I'm saying to my fans, like, if you see me in the street, if you see me at a show and it's not one of those times or whatever, if you see me at any other point, and you want to chat and a photo and all that stuff, absolutely no problem at all. But when when I'm at the merch table selling and I've got customers to sell to, this is my policy, right? So what I've done is those photos that you can see in front of you there, I've got those signed photos, and I've got 8x10s, and I've got t-shirts. So I've got signed products starting at £5 for those, £10 for the really big pictures, and 20 for a t-shirt, right? So what I'm saying to people is, when they come up and ask for a photo, or they ask me to sign something, or they want, like, so if they want me to sign something and take a photo on their phone, what I say is it's free with a purchase. So, and I've got photos for £5. But I'm getting a lot of people. I had someone at the show the other night literally come up, walk up and go, picture, and left and went like this and spilled his beer all over one of my t-shirts. Oh. And then I said, dude, you just spilled beer all over one of my t-shirts. And he was like, oh, sorry, well, can I get a picture? And I was like, well, it's unfortunately what I'm doing just now is it's picture and a signature free with a purchase. And he went, not, and just walked off. And it's like, well, you've made one of my t-shirts unsellable now. So thanks for it. And I'm the asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I'm not afraid. This is the thing, and this is where so this is the thing. I've never. This is all new to me, that stuff. Because I've been in the business as long as you, and I've sold some merch here and there. But I've always been of the no. I'm a villain. I'm not going to go out and sell merch. So I've never really done that. So this is interesting hearing this. I'd have been like, up yours, bro. Like. Well, that's what I'd have done.
It was pretty. That one in particular was.
I'd have been pissed off.
If I walk into fucking
If you walk into
Jack
fucking
Wills
and you spill shit on their
spill a beer on a t-shirt, you think I can just walk out?
Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
they don't
pay
let you
for
take.
that.
They don't let you take drinks in a lot of shops.
Exactly,
Because if you fucking spill it, you buy it.
So, and I was just like, whatever. You know, and I just thought, but the attitude, he was like, think I'm the asshole, and he's just spilt stuff all over me. And the way I'm looking at it is, and guys, I am not joking. And Jake, I talked numbers with you a little bit yesterday. I swear to you, since I've done this, the difference in implementing that policy has taken me from struggling every month, struggling to pay bills, to being comfortable. It is literally that much of a difference. I have very nearly cleared my business and personal debts.
That's
Just by implementing this policy. It literally makes that much of a difference. So my kind of viewpoint of it is, I'm saying, like, if I was to go to a Comic-Con or something like that and I wanted that to get a picture with somebody or whatever, like, so if I saw, like, let's say, you know, I'm trying to think of something. Let's say I saw, like,
Christopher Biggins.
Let's say I see let's say I see Joe Rogan in the street, right? Or walk around. I'm maybe going to ask him for a selfie. But if I go to, like,
Mark.
if I go to, like, a Comic-Con or something like that where he's selling merch, do you think you're going to get up?
This is the thing.
You know what I mean?
The thing is, at those events, there's normally bouncers there to shuffle guys along.
Yeah.
So
And
if you want a picture, you have to pay for it.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, in my mind, I'm thinking £5 to get a selfie, to get I'll sign your program, and you get a signed photo of mine of either the Pokemon, the Bohemian Rhapsody, or the promo shots that I got done. You can have a signed one of those as well. I think for a £5.
I was going to say, see, you're
know
at
what I
you're at a level now where you can do that. You signing something adds value to it, where it could be sold on to a fan who would pay a lot of money for it. So it's a big deal for you to do that. You know, it's interesting being in that position.
It's difficult because, like, you know, you want to. It is a difficult one. It's a very difficult one, and I've kind of had conversations with people about it. But I've decided, you know what? I'm like, if I have to, at the end of the day, like, this is how my life has changed. It's not just me anymore. You know what I mean? I've got responsibility.
See, I was going to say, I think it's fair though. I think it's fair.
I need to.
You're a merch machine, like, and that's the thing, like. That's one of the things I'm actually looking forward to the most, actually, in terms of, because I was like, because obviously if we're going to work together a bit more as a tag team, that's one of the things I was like, right, I want to learn, because I'm like, right, learning one thing of wrestling is you know, in the ring or whatever, you know, and I think in terms of where it comes to you doing things that I've not done and doing things that I could learn from you, I think most of all, it's the business side of it.
Well, the merch side of things has changed my life, and do you know what? I'm not BSing when I say this or joking around, but at least once a day, I'll be sitting down and I'll be thinking, man, like, I am appreciative for the fan base.
You fucking liar.
Because I'm literally like, without them, that camera wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
These mics wouldn't be there. Those lights wouldn't be there. I would have a part-time job.
Yeah.
My belly would be out to here. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the fans are literally powering and fueling everything that's going on here.
Yeah.
And their support is like, it's weird. It's like, especially now, I never want to take that for granted.
That's the thing, and it's interesting when you say
need to
that.
live and die by that.
Yeah,
you know?
it's interesting that you say that, because I've never been in a position similar to that, but it is interesting because, again, I'm gonna, so like we've said before, like I am gonna, when I start kind of rolling a bit more with pro wrestling stuff, kind of going into 2019. Bookers, promoters, get in contact. I'm looking to smash 2019. So, basically, what I'm looking to do, I'm looking to kind of come back and kind of do more stuff in 2019. I kind of got away from it a bit in 2018. I've had a lot of things happen, and one of the things I'm going to be doing is, you know, bringing out merch and trying to obviously get myself over a little bit more and get more of a platform. And I know that just from watching what you've been doing and kind of paying close, because I'm a student of the game.
Yeah.
I'm a student of the game, and you and I are friends, and we've worked together. But it doesn't mean I'm not switched on and watching and going, what the hell is he doing? Why is he able to make this much on merch or sell this many t-shirts? What's he doing? What's working there? One of the things I noticed was, again, you going out before, interval, after. Things I wasn't doing. And I was like, interesting.
Do you know who the master is? I'll tell you who the master is right now of this. Marty Skrull. Marty Skrull is the master of this, yeah.
Oh, dude, well, the guy's, he's up the top of the business, man. He knows what he's doing.
But I remember watching him on the way up, and there were people who were higher up on the card than him But when it came to merch, goosh, just
Really?
killing it. And I'm like, I was just trying to pay attention to what's going on. And he really, really gets the business side of the professional wrestling business. And again, it's like, but do you know what? It's how much you put in. Like, literally, I will happily stand for an extra, if you, of course, across the whole course of the evening, like I say, on the last Fight Forever tour, I was out before it, like, interval, after the show. See, even on the last night, like, the bus had left.
Yeah.
But I was still doing stuff at the venue. You know what I mean? It's like that. I'm willing to stay there for another hour. You know what I mean? I don't mind. Like, at the end of the day, this is how we make our living. This is hard work. And the best thing about it, right, is it's like your fans are supporting you, but you get to give them something back.
Yeah, that's why merch is like the best way to
It is. It's the absolute
any
best
creator.
thing. Yeah, because it's like you get something back. You get a bit of time. You get to discuss it. Although I will say again, you know me, I'm gonna wear my heart on my sleeve here. So
you also get some ball-ass t-shirts.
Yeah,
as well,
exactly,
you know?
exactly. There you go. So we had the basically I became a bad guy on the third night of the tour.
Are you fucking reviewing the
telling
business?
you, man. I'm telling you.
Are you
No,
killing the
just telling you
business?
what happened. I'm just telling you what happened.
Are you killing the fucking business?
I'm just telling you what happened. So, but basically, so at the end of the show, I was doing my prestigious one stick.
Oh,
and
shit.
Do you know what? Sometimes you learn by experience, but I took it too far.
Oh,
I did take it
How did you take it too far?
Because
shit.
basically, the difficulty is when you're doing the spiel, it's like 99% of people get it. But every so often you just miscalculate it, you know?
Yeah.
So basically, so what I do is it's like if someone comes up and asks for, like, so when I'm the prestigious one, when they ask for the free signature, what I do is I'm like, I just hold up the pen and get them to hold the thing to the pen. But what I started doing is like, I'm like, oh, do you want the free signature, do you? And I just drop the pen on it. And it goes, right? So I did that and I'm like, but the adrenaline was going.
Oh, no.
So basically, it's so bad. It's so bad. So these kids came up to their
For
table,
fuck's sake. Why did I know this was going to...
with their mum, and then I'm like going,
mum's
the
there.
prestige. I'm like, so the mum's asking, I'm like, oh, can they get this? And I'm going, well, it's the prestigious one does signatures with a purchase, and she's like, oh no, I don't think we want a purchase thing.
Is this after the show?
Yeah. She's like,
so they've seen the show where you've turned villain?
Yeah. And
Okay.
they're like, I don't think we want to make a purchase. We were just wanting a photo and a signature. And they was like, oh, is there any chance you can sign it? Everyone else has. And I was like, oh, everyone else has, have they? I was like, oh, well then, you'll be needing a signature, won't you? To the mum, and I was like,
Oh, no.
do you want the paid signature or the free signature? And she's like, do you want? And she's like, the free signature. I'm like, free? Who wants the free signature? It's so bad.
Oh, dude.
I know. I think. I know. And the kids are going, me. And then I'm like, I just dropped the pen. It's like, and honestly, like, I could one of the kids was on the verge, and I was like, no. And I just had to say to mum, I was like, right, bring them over here, right? And I just like, so I gave them like I had to like, I was like, nah, I was like, I said, right, here, and I gave them 3 photos each. And I got them. You got to hold the bell and all that.
So not only did you destroy these kids,
I destroyed the professional
asshole to these kids. You destroyed the business. You also destroyed your own integrity by going back and giving them what they wanted.
Yes, all 3 in a winner.
Good job.
See, I was always thinking, even though I was a villain, I always did that logic where I just did my own thing, and I was always like, well, of course you want a signature. I'm the best. I'm the best.
The worst though, just when I went, oh well, who wants the free signature?
So bad.
I know. And then
That's so bad. I can imagine that.
Oh. And do you know what? When I said it, I could see.
I was going to say, did you know at the time?
I could see Kip Sabian and Flash Morgan look at me like, "You're trapped. You're trapped. There's nothing you can do." And I was like, "Oh!" And I dropped. But I spoke to the mum after, and she was like, "Oh, you." She was like, "No, don't worry, you made their night with that." And I was like, I was just feeling so.
Was she in on it? Like, did she know kind of afterwards?
No, she knew after.
Oh, for
but
God's
at the point, she was
sake.
like, "That's terrible," and I was like, "Oh
shit.
no." Oh,
dude, it's a
different time. You just can't do it.
It's so funny because it gets fucking cameras everywhere, and this is the thing when it comes to the business, and this is again, it comes a lot from just kind of getting over. Because you're right. What you did there, like from about 2 years ago, would have been like, Well, you fucking remained in character. You did the right thing.
Should have slapped the both of them.
But now I'm looking. I'm going.
You want a free signature, do you? There's two for the price of one.
I'll tell you what I'll do.
Just right on your hand.
Yes.
Get like a stamp, right? Get a stamp of your signature and like sellotape it to your hand. And if anyone comes here, you just.
But no, you're right, man. You have to now. And again, everybody, even kids that are really young, they know what's up. You know what I mean?
Those ones didn't, man.
I know. Like, so people will pop for your shtick, like, because again, that's the thing with the business nowadays. It's so mixed that, like, you're almost, and I've said this before, you're a very, very good villain, but you'll never be a good villain because people just can't hate you.
Yeah.
People can't hate you. You're too.
Oh, some of them can.
But you're not. Very few. The people that know what's going on, though, and most people do now. 80 to 90% of the business or of the fans know what's up.
I think the problem is, like, so before, maybe like 2016, 2017, like, I wasn't the most elaborate wrestler. Like, so my thing was, I don't do a lot of stuff. I do the basics well. You know, whereas like now I think I've evolved a lot in ring. So before I could kind of understand why, you know, people would hate me because I just my wrestling didn't have loads of spots. It was just like I wrestled like sort of, if in effect, just like, you know, TV matches, if you will. That was like my sort of style. So a lot of indie fans didn't like that.
Aye.
So that actually helped me out because when I was wrestling the
easier to be a villain.
people were booing all the time. Whereas see the other night, like, me and Flip Gordon tore the house down.
Yeah.
Honestly, tore the house down, and I was like, I'm just getting so much happier wrestling and in the ring, and I feel like I'm improving, and it's like I feel like I'm really passionate about it at the moment. You know,
It works, man. But like I was again, it's just because you are entertaining at what you do, and because fans that are in the know they'll watch what you're doing and go. It's kind of like the Becky Lynch scenario right now, where she's the big villain, but people know that she's good. People know that she's
tearing it up right now.
Dude, she is absolutely destroyed. She's the most over star in the business right now.
Do you know, I had a conversation with somebody, and
At least
like,
in WWE.
Do you know what I've noticed when you take the people who are like most over, like the most? So think about like, so who would you say the most over were?
Well,
So
right
like,
now.
No, well, no. So the Becky Lynch right now, right?
Right now, Becky Lynch is probably
But
the
before,
most over.
what, like Stone Cold?
Stone Cold, The Rock. Back in the day, I'm trying to think of guys that were.
Well, let's just take those.
Let's take Stone Cold and
those
The Rock
for now, right? So Stone Cold, The Rock, Becky Lynch just now, right? You know what the thing that they've got in common is, and I've realised this, it's about when you talk about good guys and bad guys, when you're too like, well, I'm going to do what's right.
Yep.
Like, people don't resonate with that.
It's the grey
Because
area that they resonate with.
When they go like, oh, I'm bad, it's like people don't resonate fully with that as well. The thing that these people have in common is they do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Yep.
That
Agreed.
to me, I've noticed in characters they get way over. That is the common thread, is that they literally just do what they want to do when they want to do. And I think back to when I got into professional wrestling, and I think about The Rock was always my favourite.
Yep.
And the reason The Rock was my favourite is because he talked to his enemies like I wanted to talk to the bullies at school.
Yep.
So I lived vicariously through him.
Fucking dork.
Yeah.
You go up to school, you're just like,
Hendry, come and get your signature.
know your role and shut your mouth. And they're like, shut up, dude.
I remember like one of the chavs at
Turn
school.
pants you.
It's like, "Whoa." I remember like one of the chavs at school was like literally.
I haven't heard that word in years.
I know.
Chavs.
They were talking about this guy and they were just like,
Something to all the
"Oh,
chavs
mate."
out there.
They were like, oh mate, Tommy's like, oh, son's rang me. I'm like, honestly, we were just be ripping him silly. Like, if you actually go up and like, you go up to him and go, the Rock's shite, he starts greeting, and I was just like,
hello, darkness.
I know, I was
my
like,
old friend.
I feel his pain.
Oh my. But no, you're right though. Again, with a business, it's really funny watching your metamorphoses into kind of being a bit more kind of loose with that and being able to go right. Being more open to just doing your thing and kind of seeing how you're getting more comfortable. I remember, because I was the same, and I'm kind of getting that way now where I'm kind of like, because I've had a kind of bit of time off and I've stepped back, I'm kind of looking at it from an outside eye and going, like, it's interesting where I'm not
do you know what the changes are? Right?
Go for it.
So when I did the Ring of Honor tour, like I'm thinking like, oh man, these guys do loads of spots, so I'll need to do loads of spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's thinking like that. Whereas it was Finn Balor told me in 2014.
Look at this cunt name
I know. But it was one of the best pieces of advice he gave me. He was like, when you work somewhere new, he was like, don't try and adapt yourself to them. Be you, because they've already got those people. They're bringing you in for a different reason.
Yeah, man. Stone Cold said the same thing about when he went to Japan.
Exactly.
And he was sitting there going, like, him and Arn Anderson were going to go on, like, I think the match is on YouTube. It's a decent match. And they're like, and he's like, oh, man, we need to do all this fucking crazy shit. And Arn's just like, mate, why did they bring you here?
Yeah.
Why did they bring you here in the first place? Because they want your shit. That's why you're here. They didn't bring you here to do their shit. They brought you here to do your shit. And I was like,
So see, just now, like, well, what I've started doing is I don't even lock up anymore.
Dude, I haven't done a lockup in a long ass time.
But I mean, I would usually always lock up. What I do is I literally just like I go down to one knee,
do the amateur
wrestle
shit. Yeah,
style,
shoot. Why would you not?
See the
Why
way
wouldn't you?
See the way that John Jones does MMA. That's the way I'm trying to approach pro
Why
wrestling.
wouldn't you though?
So what I do now is I just go for I do what I would do in amateur wrestling training.
Yeah.
You know what I do? I go for the 2-on-1 on the arm straight
Yeah.
away. So in my pro wrestling matches, that's what I've started doing, and that's the way I started wrestling.
See, I was doing that for a bit, but
Yeah.
I found people would get like nervous. They would start to get kind of tight and nervous because they thought I was trying to do shit, and I was like, no, just chill.
I've so you don't really need to, like, that can just come naturally. So
Yeah.
there you go. There's like 2 minutes of the match right there. You know,
Dude,
And then after you've done that, it then escalates to the hold for hold wrestling, and then so by the time you've got to, let's just say, without revealing the business, the bit where the bad guy is going to be in control, you're already 4 or 5 minutes into the match instead of 1 or 2, and then you don't even need to know what's going on there. So and the thing is, the bit that comes before, I already know in my head what that's going to be. So really, when it comes to memory, was always my big problem.
Yeah.
So like now, towards it, all I need to know is basically what they're doing at the very start, and then the sequences at the end. That's why now I'm able to go in there with somebody like Flip Gordon and have a really good match. And do you know what was crazy as well? There were little things that like they're coming with experience. So basically, and this is an interesting thing. So the crowd were like kind of flat at one point.
Yeah.
And then one guy was like screaming at me, just one guy.
Yeah.
But then Flip Gordon jumped the barrier and high-fived the guy, and then the whole crowd went, like, insane. And then so it spread, and then I was like, right, okay, and I was like, right, you think that's easy? I was like, oh, you think that's difficult? Well done. I can do that as well. Watch this. So I jumped the barrier, and I got to high-five him, and he changes it to that. And then the whole crowd goes like that, and I was like, oh, I've had enough of this. And I decided to do this, so I jumped the barrier, and as soon as I landed, I went, oh, and like buckled my foot, and then they're all like, you effed up. So it's like getting them before we'd even done anything. They were like right up, and it was like, see, just knowing wee things like that, like Flip Gordon hadn't done that, like I wouldn't have known to go out there and take that next step. You know,
again, it's being loose with it and knowing.
Exactly.
You're right though. Like I remember when I did that where.
The Ring of Honor tours are invaluable for that stuff.
It's the guys that are good that know, like Riddle. When I did it with Riddle, we literally just were like, I will just fuck about, because he's a very, very, he's done MMA shit. He's one of the legit toughest guys walking the earth. The guy was a beast of a wrestler beast of an amateur before he even went into MMA and into pro
He
wrestling.
says he used to beat Tyron Woodley in practice.
Dude, he's got a win over John Jones when he was in high school.
Really?
I'm pretty sure he was in high school at the same time as John Jones, and he went to a duel meet and beat John Jones.
Wow. There you
Apparently. He didn't say that. I read
Allegedly.
that online. I don't know if that's true. I would have liked to have asked
if any
him
of our listeners know, let us
if
know.
anyone know that if that's true. But when we did it with him, I was literally, it was like that trust. It was that trust of like, because he knew I wasn't trying to shoot on him, and I knew he wasn't trying to shoot on me.
Yeah.
But we're both skilled wrestlers, so it was like we had that trust of like he'll try like a triangle or something, and I'm like, oh, he's trying a submission, but I'm not afraid because I know he's not trying to kill me with it. Whereas other people would be. It's that, and then transitioning into pro holds, like I like that transition because it's so seamless and it's so smooth with guys that know what they're doing. Like, yeah, it's great that more people are starting to get on board with that. And like you say, that's 4 or 5 minutes of storytelling right there. You don't even have to know what you're going to do going out there. You can tell that story quite easily. It's not a difficult story to tell, and you just have to be willing to have promoters that are willing to give you the time to tell that story, and have guys that are willing to allow you to trust you to tell that story with them.
Well, the thing is, I don't think I would have been able to do that like a year or 2 years ago. Honestly speaking, I think the matches with Timothy Thatcher and Jonathan Gresham completely changed my opinion on wrestling. Completely changed my opinion. There was literally, in both matches, so in a regular indie wrestling match, you'll see about 20 bumps.
I was going to say, you'll see
bumps.
minimum 15, 20 bumps per guy.
When someone lands on their back, basically.
Yeah.
In my matches with Jonathan
Well,
Gresham.
check out the big brain on you, eh?
At this point, come on.
With my matches with Timothy Thatcher and Jonathan Gresham, there's one bump in each match.
I was gonna say,
and
I
I was
think
like,
you took-
okay, this is the, and the reactions were better than
I literally think you took
anything I'd
one
ever
bump
had
each
to that point.
in the
Well, if you
Timothy
don't
Thatcher
oversaturate it,
Yeah.
you know.
But
If
then
you
I
only
was-
have a few, then
yeah.
they're more special.
But then I was like, well, wait a second. These are getting louder reactions than I would usually ever have. And obviously, they're like total pros, so you've got to kind of deduct that factor from it. But I'm like, those are the best matches I've had. And again, even with Flip Gordon, we didn't really bump around that much. Like,
See, yeah, that's the thing. But because you're getting to an established level now, people are respecting your ability because of that. You know, I've got a very small pocket of loyal fans that know. You know what I mean? Because again, if something I wanted to talk about, I'm not going to talk about it this week. Didn't talk about it last week, but it's very much kind of where what we did when I went back to ICW and how it kind of. I don't want to say it did me more harm than good, but
I don't think so.
the
man.
problem
Like,
with what it did was it fed into the perception of not only the casual audience, but the maybe some of the workers too. The consensus is I can't cut a promo and I can't work. That was the consensus, and I think that almost fed into it.
I mean, here's the thing, though.
But
right?
I do have, and I will say this, I do have a very small pocket of really loyal fans that do actually know that, like,
from Discovery, I would say.
mostly from Discovery, that have seen promos I've done, that understand that no, I don't get a whole lot of promo time. I don't really. I love going out on a live mic. I've only done it a few times. I love doing it. When in terms of working, I've only very rarely been given the opportunity. Like I think when I wrestled you that one time was one of the ones where I was given the opportunity to come out and actually showcase my ability. And the fans that know.
Well, my advice would be make your opportunity. Take your opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm thinking about this. I'm like, why do I not do a promo for every match? Like, why not? Like, what's the reason? There is no reason. I'd only get better, and it would improve. It would boost every.
Oh no,
you know
I'm not
what I
talking
mean?
about like
And
promos where I film them.
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying like. Well, that was kind of what I was saying. You need to kind of make your own. I think if you can change your approach to wrestling, like for me personally, I'm not going to say which company it was, but I was literally told by one of my bosses in wrestling that maybe this is not for you. Your matches are so bad and you're so crap that basically you should probably just stick with the day job. And I remember, and this is somebody I work with today. And this is somebody I told them I was going to shove it in their face, and then I shoved it in their face, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas I think you need to take that viewpoint and just go like, you know, and just that relentless positivity. The more you start overanalyzing what happened and what didn't happen and stuff like that, you need to just go, what happened doesn't matter. And that's something I realized is that I used to think about like, you know, I'd go on Wikipedia before I was a wrestler and go, oh, this person's this old. That means I need to start by this time.
Yeah.
And, oh, that person took that path. Oh, John Jones did this by that age, and Chael Sonnen did this by that age, and The Rock had done this, and blah, 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 blah. That's their path.
Yeah.
Your path is completely unique, and it doesn't need to copy anybody else.
Oh, I know that.
There's nothing stopping you from being a top star in the business. You know what I mean? Just your attitude.
Yeah, having that time away has really helped me to notice that, and I've noticed that with everything else in my life that I do well at, you know, everything else I've done in my life that I do well at, it's because I do it my way, you know. I do it my way, and I do it the way I want to do it, and
You're not emotionally attached to it.
you take those risks that I wouldn't necessarily take in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Things like saying something and I'm like, I sit there and the first thing I'll do is I'll be like, should I say this? Will that piss somebody off? What about that? Like, we've talked about it before where, you know, and I'm not afraid to talk about this, is where I would get heat for things I would say on a podcast or something. You know, I would say something on the podcast and I'd get...
Well, don't say who, but tell them what you got heat for.
So this is literally what happened. So I did a podcast a few years ago. I was part of a tag team and I started kind of getting a little bit over. We actually started to get over. We were over for a bit, actually. We actually did quite well.
In ICW, yeah.
And ICW, even in ICW, we were actually over for a bit.
Yep.
And then we got an opportunity to do this podcast. It was a kind of a growing podcast. So I had a pretty good listener base. So we did this podcast, and I'm on the podcast, and I'd been told that, again, at the time, and this was in my head as well, and again, I'm going to let you guys in on a little bit of something here that was kind of going on in my head at the time. During this time, I had very little confidence in my own ability. When I look back at it now, look back at it in retrospect, I was put in a position where I was basically told by not only the person involved, but the people who were kind of like the mentors or the people around me, that I needed that tag team partner because I wasn't good enough to do it myself. I was in a position where I thought I need him to work with me, otherwise I can't do it. I'm not good enough. And that's kind of where I felt at the time. So what happened when this podcast came up was I was told by him, hey, you should try and talk a bit more. Say stuff on here, let people know that you can actually speak. And I was like, oh, okay, I will. And so I talked. And they were asking about, how did you get into wrestling? And what did you like? Who did you like growing up? And I basically said, this was, if I remember correctly, I said, even to this day, I was like, I'm a massive Stone Cold fan. I literally said, I think I said the exact words were, oh, I was a Stone Cold mark. Those were the exact words I used. I used those exact words, and I got unrelenting heat for it.
Not only that, you got heat because you said you like to travel by yourself.
That was another one, yeah.
But dude,
no, I like to travel. I didn't say I like to travel. I said I did travel, which is true. I did. Because I came from Edinburgh, and you at the time you were sort of taking off and doing your thing.
But here's the thing, right? Do you think I give a flying you-know-what about what a certain trainee is doing travel-wise? You know what I mean? For someone to have an issue with that, it's like, what are you talking about, man?
And that's the thing.
Why would they care about that?
Yeah, I know. Exactly,
it's
because, it's BS, man. It's BS. That's what it is. I went through it. You went through it. Everybody goes through it.
So you got heat for saying you like Stone Cold and that you had to travel on your own.
And I said, because I generally travel myself, because I take the train and then I'll walk to wherever, because I didn't have a car at the time. And I was like, I usually travel by myself. And they were like, and I got unreal. You'd be amazed at the heat I got for that off people.
And do you know what? If that happened in your business, you'd be like,
I'd be like, shut the fuck up. And then I look back on it now and I'm like, why didn't I just, do you know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with either of those.
Exactly, right?
What,
I think
why would anyone get angry
Is it because you said the word mark?
I think that's what it was.
So basically that's a wrestling term for fan that everyone says on podcasts anyway and everyone knows. You know what I mean?
And I was describing myself growing up, which is what it was. Yeah. You know? Like, this is the thing.
Basically every current wrestler...
Dude, we're the biggest marks in the game. Yeah, we're doing it for a living.
Big marks that you became wrestlers.
Exactly, right? But that's the thing, and I look back at that now, and I'm like, well, I didn't want to do another podcast. I didn't want to do another interview because I was like, I just can't be arsed with the heat and the pish coming off of that. And now I look at the stuff I say on here and the way I just kind of talk and do whatever, and maybe it rubs people the wrong way once or twice, or I'll say something stupid, and I'm like, who fucking.
No one's gonna say anything.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's like what I've learned.
Because it'll fuck you up if you do.
Well, do you know what I've learned as well? Like when you have again, like in wrestling, it's when you're by yourself. The hounds will come and get you. You know what I mean? It's like there's strength in numbers. You need to have like with me, like I'm to be honest. What I will say is on that Fight Forever tour, that was an amazing group. That was an amazing.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone was just having fun.
See the groups, man. The fucking groups can make it, man. See when you get a good group, the banter is just there.
And do you know what the cool thing was? It was like, the funny thing was we were talking about, because one of them was like, because you know all the controversy that's going on with a certain statement that was put out regarding. I won't say anything. Let's not delve into this.
Do you know what?
Don't
I won't go into it.
No. Okay, so basically, a wrestler made a statement who voiced their opinion, which was a controversial opinion about the state of the British wrestling scene.
I've already made things clear with that.
I'm not going to comment on it, right? But what I will say is that the locker room had people from all different companies, and I've never seen it more unified. You know what I mean?
Really?
Well, yeah,
That's
it
what
was
you need,
just
though.
like, but it was just like it's the funny thing was that we were joking around. It was like, oh, that's one game to WS. That's one game to, you know what I mean? Like, so it was like when we were playing Mafia, it was like, right, this one's for brand supremacy. You know?
That's what it should be, man. That's what it should be, though, because a lot of people, especially companies in the UK, get this fucking idea that we're in the Monday Night Wars or something. And it's like, WWF or WCW. It's like, guys, we're all got the same fucking mission. If one company grows and another one can grow and then another one can grow, it's like, we're all going to grow.
I'll give you...
And
like,
everyone's
Not
in the
one
business.
company's going to
okay.
blow up and everyone else is in the war.
So this is what I will say, right? This is how I kind of tried to explain it to others who were in the situation, right? So, WS happens, the original special,
Yep.
right? And then you'll notice that from that to when they had the season, the roster is different.
Yeah.
Because other people, some people went to WWE, right?
Some people did some other things.
Guess what that did for me? That created a spot for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So by there being these two companies, that created a spot for me that
It means more
might not
people
have been there
are
for me
getting the
before.
opportunity.
That's
more
what I'm saying.
people are getting the opportunity. More people are getting popular. More companies are getting success. How is this a bad thing?
Right?
And the thing is, it's like, yeah, more people are making a good living from British wrestling now than ever before. So, maybe, to be honest, in the old, like, World of Sport days, like, back when there was, like, you know, Johnny Saint and Marty Jones, I'm sure there was, you know, they were doing well then, but right now, in our lifetime...
Considering where it's been in the last
Yeah.
15, 20 years, where it was
ridiculous.
gone.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Wrestling wasn't a thing. Like I'm so like even people my age. I'm only 22, but like people my age, like wrestling was already dead at that point. Like very few people were
Well,
into
remember
wrestling.
when we first got into it, British wrestling was only just coming back into like coming back when we first, because we started when I started training in 2012. Like, and I remember there was a scene, but it was nowhere. It wasn't even a tenth of what it is now. You know, like there was maybe 3-4 companies in Scotland alone, and like if that in 2012, and like the names. There was nothing like there is now. There was nobody selling out the fucking Hydro. You know, there was nobody putting thousands of people in seats. You know, you were getting at the most on the big. Their version of fucking Mania was a couple of hundred. Now you look at it now and it's like there's fucking tens of thousands going to British wrestling shows. It's on fucking television. It's insane how much it's grown.
Can I just add something to this? I want it so for those listeners, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll know what statement that I'm talking about, right? I just kind of, you know, I don't want to get really that involved in the whole controversy thing because anytime there's something like this is the viewpoint I take from it. I'm like, I'm going to try and be the best professional wrestler that I can be. I'm going to try and improve in every area. And my business will take care of itself. That's the way I view my personal business. Like I know as long as I get better, then everything will be fine. You know.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not like, oh, what's going to happen? Because I'm like, all I need to worry. Good. If I just get better, get in better shape, get better in the ring, do better promos, get a better gimmick, do better music videos, do more podcasts, work harder. Good things are going to happen. I'm not worried about it. But at the same time, sorry, but
No,
just
go
going to say
ahead.
one thing. What I will say is. I want to be very careful as well because whilst I don't personally agree with what Justin said, I also don't want to. I also do. I don't put it this way. I don't agree with what he said. I don't agree with the way that he said it, but I do respect him going out there and putting his opinion out there and taking the flack that he's getting.
You see, I agree with that.
And I said to him personally, I refuse to. Basically kick him when it's down. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. I think that sometimes I'd rather someone fell on their sword. Don't flim flam and flip flop and fuck about. It's like if you say something, it's like right, if shit hits the fan, it's like right, stand up, own up to it, and go.
Yep.
This shit happened. And you know what? You got to give respect where it's due.
And what I will say is like
Sticking to their guns
Yeah,
and-
I will
and-
tell you this.
And having the balls to say it. Like at the end of the day, it's like. The wrestling business, and we've just discussed, it does, and hell, folk that know me know I'm really outspoken, and I'm not backwards at coming forwards. Let's put it that way, you know. And there's no man or thing on earth that I'm afraid of. But it even had me literally going, oh, I can't say this and I can't do that.
Yeah.
It really creates professional wrestling in particular creates an environment and a mindset of walking on eggshells. A lot of times, there's a lot of times where you can't say or do things because you're really worried about.
I mean, this
getting
is
things.
like what we're talking about right now might be seen as a sensitive topic, but you
Yeah.
know what? I feel like I'm handling it the right way, and this
Yep.
is. I just want to make it
I would agree.
clear that. So basically, Jake, for if you don't know what happened, I don't want to go into the details of what he said, but
Yeah, keep it vague.
Justin put out a controversial tweet, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with the tweet. I don't agree with the way that he said it.
Yep.
But I also don't want people and fans to just hurl abuse at him all the time, because what I will say is like, look.
It's his opinion.
It is his opinion.
Well, everyone's going to experience different things.
Yeah.
So maybe he's experienced something different. with
Everyone
him
has an opinion,
than others.
and
you know?
nobody
No,
is
you never know.
defined by one opinion.
I think the thing, like,
Well, I don't know.
Actually, I disagree with that.
I was going to say it depends on the depends on the opinion, but we're not
Yeah,
talking about
no.
shit
so
that's
this is
severe.
what I'll say. I personally, I can't identify with that. It didn't represent. It did not represent my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what I will say is, I will tell you this about Justin, right? So myself and Justin were at a WWE tryout, right? And the night before, my car broke down. And at the time,
Was this a cerebral assassin?
I can't remember which car I had. It was basically it was a car I had that was not fully functional. And
was a car.
It was a car, but the tire exploded or something like that. And I had a WWE tryout the
hell,
next day. You're talking about I'd driven from Glasgow to like Minehead or something like that. It was about
Jesus.
an hour away or something like not maybe half an hour away, something like that. And we're now getting to probably about 1 a.m, and I've got to be there at the venue with all my stuff, and it's the night before Justin came out to help me.
Yeah.
At that time in the morning.
Yep.
At that time in the morning.
Which puts his tryout
Exactly.
in jeopardy.
Is that
you
going
know?
to negatively affect his performance that day? Yes. Yes, it is.
I was going to say, did he
And
get signed?
And I actually, he didn't, no.
It's your fault.
I'm joking. So, but the next day, I actually told the officials that he'd done that. I
Yeah.
actually did. I actually made them aware of that.
See, that's the thing. Yeah.
So what I
Yeah.
will say is, I'm again speaking honestly, and I've said it. That I'm not saying anything I haven't said directly to Justin.
Yeah.
I've told him that I feel that along the way, not just that, I feel he's professionally made a few mistakes.
Yeah.
But
We all do.
But exactly, and I've done it. You've
Yep.
done it. I'm sure you've made
I'm
mistakes.
probably
as
going to
well.
make
No, I'm
1,000 in 2019.
But
I'm
people.
completely 100% perfect in every
But
way.
I'm just trying to make it clear that outside of that, I do think that Justin is a quality human being.
Yep.
And he's a nice guy, a caring guy, and I just don't want everyone to just give him endless flack. You know,
Because that's what happens, man. As soon as something like this happens, everybody jumps
bandwagon,
on the.
isn't it?
I was
Yeah.
about to say it's the bandwagon effect. Everybody jumps on the bandwagon, and it's the thing, right? Everybody loves the gossip. Everybody loves the fucking chat, and it's like, oh well, that's the thing now, and everyone just hurls it down until something else comes along, you know. And good for you for telling the officials that, you know, because again, that's another thing there, because he's done a good thing for you, but then you've passed it on, you know. He's done a good thing for you, but you've then passed it on. That's the one thing I will say, and again, it's something there, and it's easy for me to blow smoke up your ass because I'm on this podcast and it's your podcast. But you know for a fact that if there was something, if I didn't believe in something, I would never say it to you. The truth is, I've never known someone to get a position that you've got, but then give back in a way.
Oh, thank you, bro.
The number of people I know that are in the business have a strong position, dude, let's be honest. I've literally had nobody in the business help me out at all, other than yourself, really. You're the one guy that's really been there, and even though you've had far more, we started at the same time, you've had much more success than I have. You've been able to maneuver your career in positions that I haven't been able to, but still you're giving back and you're not going, well, this is my success and I'm keeping it for me. You've managed to sort of pass it down, and that's one thing I'll have to say. And then for you to go there and for him to do that was a great gesture for him.
I mean, to be honest with you, I actually changed my viewpoint in a way, because I can honestly tell you, hand on heart, if it had been the other way around, at that time, now, you know, I've got enough confidence in what I do that missing a few hours sleep is not going to affect whether something is a yes or no.
But at the
know what I
time,
mean?
you'd have been paranoid
Like,
about it, and
Yeah,
really,
but at that time I'd have gone, oh man, look, can you not just get a taxi or something? Or, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I would have gone and got him. I'm not sure.
But for-
I would,
so for him
I would
to do
like
that-
to think that it would have. But for him, there was no question. He was just like, yep, I'll come and help.
for him to
You
do
know what I
that was a ridiculously good gesture.
Yeah.
And then another good gesture for you to pass that on, because it would have been easy for you to just keep that to yourself, but for you to then pass it on to officials and go, no, this guy's a good guy. You know, a lot of people. I don't know if you know, or if you know fully how rare good people are like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people that do that stuff.
Well, on the same token, though, in pro wrestling, me and Steve Linsky were talking about this. You'll notice the people at the it's weird. Like, so see, working with like Kurt Angle,
Yeah.
soundest guy ever.
Oh.
Like, and you know, Steve knows Rey Mysterio very well. Rey Mysterio, soundest guy ever. Like, you'll find
Those are two guys that
Yeah,
I've always wanted
it's-
to speak
I've-
with.
the people that I've sometimes found difficulty is people, without naming names, is people kind of in between. You know what I
fucking
mean?
Barry Landers, you're a wanker.
So like people in the kind of who are not quite absolute top stars, but you know
They're on their way, and
or that's their lot.
They're at
That's
the
what
limit
gonna
there.
be. Yeah, and it's not going to get any better than that. So it's like, oh, better hold.
I've
better
experienced.
hold somebody
I've
down.
experienced that. I've experienced that.
Yeah.
At least in the last year and a half, twice on a major level. So I know exactly what you're talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
One person that I will give a shout out to as well is Cody Rhodes, actually. Like he took a lot of time to, you know, give me some advice, and he's just a really cool guy. Like,
The
really
people
cool
that
guy.
are up there are the ones that are the ones that aren't sitting
He's
there.
killing it just now.
Dude,
Absolutely
they're not.
killing it.
And so why? What would it benefit him to hold someone like you back?
But do you know
It
what?
doesn't.
It's having that confidence. Having confidence. He's confident enough in his ability. You know what I mean?
Dude, look at the people that I've what I've worked with, and I keep citing it, and I keep citing it, and I keep going back to it. But you know, it was an opportunity where I was in a pretty shitty place with pro wrestling, and when I worked with Matt Riddle, he didn't have to do anything he did for me.
No, he went out of his way.
He did not have to
for sure.
do anything. He didn't have to do anything he did for me. But for him to go and again, the way he came for the finish and things like that, the way he was like, nah, bro, I want to put you over and I want to showcase your shit as well. And I was like, for a guy who's an import, and the guy's in fucking WWE now. The guy's the top of the game. And for him to take a guy that he's never heard of, a guy that literally isn't even well known in the Scottish scene, you know? I think, you know what I mean? For him to then go, no, I want to help you and get your shit over and give you that rub. And for him to
Very
do that,
selfless of
Yeah,
him, like-
but
Dude,
again,
you've
and
no
do you know
idea
why?
how much I
Because
appreciate that.
Matt Riddle's confidence is through the roof, and rightly so.
He's honestly one of
he
the
literally-
nicest guys
he,
I've ever met in
He
my
told
life.
me, you'll watch episode, I think it's episode 3 of the podcast. It's one of the early episodes.
Self-plug,
and it was
self-plug.
from an old interview that I had that I didn't need to use, so I just used it as a podcast episode. He literally says, like, he's like, yeah, I want to retire Brock Lesnar. Like, he thinks in his mind that he would beat Brock Lesnar, and I'm not sure I could disagree with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Why in wrestling or UFC?
Either.
dude,
No. If they were both in UFC right now, I wouldn't bet against Matt Riddle. To
Mate.
be honest, because I don't know. I probably wouldn't take that bet. I'm just saying either.
Yeah.
way.
It's a risky
but
bet.
You have to be a pretty special person though to be able to convincingly tell me that you can batter Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
But when he said it, I was just like, I believed it.
it's
you know
so
what I mean?
funny, man, because there's so many guys in the business. And again, this is just me being on, again, I'm naming no names, but there's so many guys that are fucking heeing and hawing. They're just like, oh, don't do that. Or they'll hit you and they'll stiffen you up in that, and they'll punch you hard, or they'll be awkward with you, they'll give you pish. Matt Riddle is legitimately in the top 2, maybe 3 guys in the world in pro wrestling that could whoop anybody's ass in the business. Yeah? There's only one.
Possibly number 1.
Possibly.
It's really him and Brock. Isn't it?
Lesnar's the only one where I'm looking and going, well, I don't know. But everybody else I'm looking and going, oh, you'd fuck them up. Of course he would. And for him his strikes were they were snug and they were good, but they didn't hurt. He didn't kick my head off. he didn't. I felt 100% comfortable going, oh no, we'll have a fucking, because there's one bit, so we're doing like a kind of like a trade off, and I was like, to be honest, if we're doing a trade off, I was like, well, why would we hit each other? Like why would we punch each other? Like why don't we just kick, do like leg kicks off? So it's basically I would kick him in the leg, he would boot me back, and I would definitely sell it a bit more.
Have you got the footage for this?
I don't have the footage for it, but I know the match is out there, and I'm going to try and see if I can get it online.
Let's do it. Let's try and get this match.
Yeah, I want to try and get this match because it's honestly it's a good match.
If you even have that to like send to promoters and stuff, you know what I mean? That's going to help.
So and we did that. So it's like leg kick, and eventually I wanted to do a thing where I'm like fuck this, and I started hitting him. So I'm starting to strike him in the face, strike him. I go for the big shot. He ducks under, head kick, boom. And I was like, I felt comfortable trusting him, going, you're a legitimate former UFC fighter, one of the baddest men on the planet, and I'm trusting you to boot me in the head legit and not kill me and knock me out. And the guy could not have been safer. It really opened my eyes to there's no reason for people in the business to be cunts. He's legitimately one of the toughest guys on earth. Never mind in pro wrestling, on earth. And for him to be so easy to work with and to be so accommodating to me when he has no fucking idea who I am. You know? I'm just a random fucking guy, local guy for him, you know?
I've only ever had it once. I've had it one. Don't get me wrong, I've had people that are difficult to work with, and you guys know who it is, you know, this year. But it was, you know, a real pain. But
Barry Landers again!
Oh, I know. But there is one person that I worked with again who I will, once the statute of limitations is passed, I'll tell you who it was. Only once in my career I've ever had someone go, okay, so this is what we're doing. And then I'm going, now this was kind of a feud, you know. So I'm going, well, maybe, you know, should we not, you know, how would you feel about maybe just adding this one little thing? No.
Ooh.
No. And then not even like listening to my reason, literally just saying, I was told literally, this is what we're doing, this is why, because I was trained by these people. And this person is not known as like a great in-ring talent or anything like that.
That's interesting.
And I thought to myself, wow, Kurt Angle asked for my input.
Yeah.
And you're going to stand there and tell me that, you know, I've got absolutely nothing to offer?
Yeah, like wrestling is
it's a
not
two-way
always,
street.
but it is a two-way thing, you know?
So, and I remember that one time, and you know what? See, at that point, what can you do? Literally, what can you do? If someone says no, I refuse to do. Do you know what? See if it was now.
Pick them up and dump it on their head.
If it had been now, I would have put, like, this was, I think, this is a few years ago. So
I was going to say, this is...
So I was in a pretty big spot.
If it's what I remember, if it's the situation
I'll tell you what is off air.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is off air. It was a fairly big spot.
I think I remember this.
No, I'll tell you about it off air. But I remember at the time, if that had happened now, I'd have been like, "Nah, man, I don't care who you are. You're not treating me that way." You know what I mean? And the thing is, but you'll notice that any top wrestler, like, see when you're like, I've been very fortunate in that I've had the opportunity to work with so many talented people. And even Kurt Angle, who could literally tell me whatever. He could the match between me and Kurt could literally be like, you get in the ring and you get pinned. You know what I mean? Like, if he wanted to.
Yes.
But all Kurt wanted to do was to help my career. You know what I mean? Same
Kurt
way.
Angle was just such a nice guy.
Exactly.
It's unreal.
Exactly. Same way, like, you know, like with Drew. Drew was a credit to the scene. Like, again, see Alberto El Patron, a.k.a. Alberto Del Rio. Same thing. He was literally just like, what we doing? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, not what we do, but I just mean like, he
giving you an opportunity
to have an opportunity. Like, so don't get me wrong, he's going to control what's happening, but he's given me a learning experience by basically asking me to step up to the plate a little bit, rather than just going, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, what do you think? And when someone's like that, that's like giving you a learning experience. And I've been pretty fortunate to have that. So it's like when you get someone that literally is just like, no, this is what we're doing. Literally move for move, this is what we're doing.
I will say Drew's one of the guys that I wish when he was here I'd gotten the opportunity to work with him, even just a little bit, because I'd heard nothing but good things about him.
Drew is like
nothing but good things.
Do you know what's interesting? He's
absolutely fucking killing it right now, by the way.
Drew and Kurt are on intensity wise are on a different level, and the reason is because both when I was wrestling them, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. When you're wrestling them, you believe it 100%. You're not putting it on. You are there in this fight, and you have to remind yourself, "Oh, I'm a pro wrestler." You know what I mean? When you're in those modes, and not in the best way possible, and like you say, you know, they're taking care of you.
Yeah,
But it's intense.
Dude, thinking you're in a fight with Kurt Angle must be the scariest moment ever.
There were so many times in that match I was just like, this is life. But I remember I was literally standing, I am standing opposite Kurt Angle, about to link up with him. Lock up. I was watching Fit Finley documentary.
Oh, he
earlier,
talks about linking up.
and one of the guys was talking about linking up, so that's put it in my head. But we were locking up earlier. We were locking up, and I was just remember thinking, oh Jesus, this is happening, you know. And you were there, you know, mum and dad were there, stepdad was there, you know, Sarah was there, had the family there. I was glad you couldn't make it, man, but you know,
circumstances
outside, very out with your control.
Way out with my control. But you're right though, having that learning opportunity really helps, and I am gonna shout out one person actually who did do that. And again, we've kind of had ups and downs, but one guy that when I was talking earlier about kind of when I was in the tag team and I didn't really think I had the confidence, when said tag team partner, who I'm not going to name, when he decided to bust up the tag team, I genuinely was in a spot where I was like, I don't know if I can do this myself. Now I'm confident to know, and the people that know that I'm a solid hand and that I can work with anybody, and that I am a solid hand and I can work with anyone. But at the time, I didn't think I could.
Yeah.
And I got asked, and I got requested. Again, I don't know the full story behind this, but from what I'd heard, at that time, I'd started doing a bit more training by myself, working a bit by myself, and I started to kind of get my confidence back a little bit. Started to kind of learn I'm actually not terrible for what I was believed, and I got put in a match with Mikey Whiplash. First time I'd ever worked him, and I was like, all right, okay. And at the time, I was kind of like, because I knew, even at the time, I knew he's next level when it comes to being a worker.
Man.
He's up there as
I was so happy with their match at that.
Easily one of, if not the best worker in the country. And I was like, okay. And at first I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I didn't think I was. I was genuinely like, I don't think I'm good enough to do this. And when we wrestled, it was the first time I'd wrestled as a babyface since I'd started. Honestly, maybe not the first time, but the second time. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking let him do his thing and we'll see. He was very accommodating to my ideas. Yeah. I remember how accommodating he was to my ideas, and I was really shocked because I wasn't expecting that. I was very much like, oh, he actually wants to hear my idea. I was like, oh, okay. And then, so we did that, and in the match, I've never worked with anybody that was just so calm. It was weird. It was so weird. It was like everything was in slow motion. It just felt like...
He's just done it for so many years.
It just felt like everything was like... I almost had loads of time to react to things. It was like nothing felt like it was like, oh my God, what do I do? At no point did I feel lost because he kept me...
Yeah, you're trusting the fact that he's going to keep everything on course.
He kept me on course and he kept me safe throughout the whole thing. And it wasn't until after that match that I really went like... I know that he basically not carried me through that match, but he really helped me in that match. But after, I was like, no, I can go. I can go. And it really was a big step forward for me of learning, of realizing. At the time, I realized I was still green as grass, and I didn't have the confidence I have now.
Something's just clicked in my head about this, right? Do you know what I think a good worker is, or a great worker, is someone who showcases your strengths and hides your weaknesses. So if you're saying that you're green as grass, but he gave you a match that
I was at the time, not so much now.
Yeah, but if you're saying you were green as grass at the time and you came out of that match thinking I can go, what he's then done is put you in a situation that's showcased all your strengths and hidden all your weaknesses, and that's what a great opponent will do.
Agree with that, yeah, because I've done that a few times. Like again, and one of the things, and I will. It's one of those things where. Again, a couple of, I think it was last year or the year before, I was working with a lot of trainees that were, and it forced me to have to learn to do that, to really learn to be able to showcase these guys and help them. And I was like, this is interesting being on the other side of this and helping these guys. And it really helped me learn a lot about how to be that guy for them or try and help them. And I was like, that's the difference.
That is what a great
That's the difference. I was like, that's those guys that can really show these guys in the best light possible. And I think you're right. I actually think
that just kind of clicked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of... I mean, I can't really think of anything more definitive than that.
We're actually 1 hour 43 minutes deep so far.
All in there.
all in there. So we probably better wrap this up soon.
Yeah.
Jake, have you got any stories that you wanted to add to this?
I was gonna say you've been
I've had a pretty quiet week, to be honest. You know,
no fast
I've
food
just been-
journeys. No.
Nah, nothing right now.
Oh, really? Been
but
eating
it's just
healthy
been-
this week.
I've just been
Been eating
been
healthy.
kicking it. Yeah, actually, I have been making more of an effort to not get takeaways and stuff.
Ooh,
You know.
dude, how many stories? You're not gonna have any stories left.
Yeah, I know that's the problem. That's gonna be a
Yeah,
problem.
I feel
I'm
like
gonna
you
have
need
go
to.
out.
I do have a few things that I want to bring up before we finish.
Right.
And I probably should have brought these up at the start, right?
That seems like a lot of things.
No, that's from previous episode. Oh no, we need to still talk about that one. Maybe a different day, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
So basically, I saw a story in the Hendry Evening News the other day, right? Where it was basically this mum had dressed her kid up for the nativity and given him an inflatable sheep, right? And it turned out that she'd accidentally sent him to school with a sex toy. Right?
Oh shit! Yeah.
So the kid, did you see that?
I heard
kid,
about this.
So the kid comes back, right, with the toy, and then it's like, haha, this is the story. And then I get thinking, whoa, Hen, wait a second. Why is this in the paper?
Yeah.
Why is this who called the journalist?
Yeah.
And then I'm going, she called the journalist.
Yep.
And I'm looking at this poor kid standing there, posing for the Edinburgh Evening News photographer, doomed for life.
Yep.
Because his mum wants 200 quid.
Was it worth it,
The
bitch?
Edinburgh Evening News to report on a story about he got papped with a sex toy.
I'd do that to my child for £200.
No.
Okay, well, there you go. And I'm just thinking...
So there's the
yeah.
moral compass
And
of Jake.
honestly, like, so there was one bit, it was absolutely ridiculous. I thought, have people got no shame whatsoever? These people are probably sharing it on their own social media.
Yeah, not
But it was-
anymore. Nobody cares now. It's just like, meh, 200 quid, 200 quid,
And she
bro.
was like, oh, he's devised a plan to get it back. I'll probably get it back and it'll have Lego in the hole. It's like, shut up. You did not say that. You did not say that.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's too far.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
it's too far.
that's money
it's
for
too
you.
far. I'm
Every
thinking,
day we stray further from God.
exactly. The other thing I do want to bring up is I think it's Paco Rabanne, but of all the perfume adverts I've ever seen, this one has to be the worst.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just paint this picture for you, right? So like there's this guy in this like behind this kind of, you know, like in movies when like they're watching their suspect and it's one-way glass so they can see, or two-way glass. What do you call it?
one-way
Two-way
glass.
or
Two-way
whatever.
glass is just glass.
Okay, so one-way glass, and they're looking at their suspect, right? But in this advert, so the guy's on one. Well, actually, no. I suppose this would be two-way glass because it's literally just. I think I was just trying to describe glass.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
So, but anyway,
You also were trying to say mirror, but it's a one-way mirror or like two-way mirror.
okay.
You know,
That was it. That was
Yeah.
it.
Two-way mirror.
Two-way mirror. There you go.
like
There you
a
go. But I
two-way
said
mirror
glass.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a one-way.
So basically, there's this glass separating this guy and this bunch of women, right? And the guy's got his Paco Rabanne, and he's like, "Tss," and the lasses are like, oh, right? And then he's like, "Tss, oh," and I swear to God,
Is he getting tased? What the fuck's happening?
No word of a lie. This is what happens. Pulls open his breeks, right?
No way.
He does, and he goes, "Tss," and they all die, right? And I'm like,
Did you see this on television?
and they all go, oh, and they're like, yeah.
the
Actually,
fuck?
let me get this up right now.
Oh my
Let me get
God.
this. Let me get this up.
This is a real advert.
I gotta show you this because
Holy fuck.
I know no one else. So Paco Rabanne advert. Let me get
Oh
this.
my God.
Yeah.
Has it got some
I think this is it. I think this is it. I think this is it. Right.
Let's see this. Live reaction.
This is it. Right.
That music is in like every advert ever.
Check my house thing.
Well, so
Actually,
they're
I better-
legit just
I better
spying
turn
on
it down
him.
a bit.
They're
Yeah, yeah.
legitimately
So,
just spying
yep,
on him.
so they're just spying on him. Yep.
All those books, eh?
Yep.
If this advert was
Okay,
the
watch
other
this.
way
Watch this.
round-
Look. They're all almost dying. No, there is one the other way around.
Yeah, it's one-way mirror. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
one-way.
Wait, look. Watch this. Oh. And look.
This is the most exciting part for the audio
Yep.
listeners.
I told you. But you gotta see this.
Perfume adverts are just ridiculous. No, it's not. No.
It's not fair use?
No.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck?
You just didn't believe me. You just didn't believe me.
I didn't.
I didn't think it was a
believe
real
you.
advert.
Yep, check it out.
I believe you. Like
Paco Rabanne
perfume adverts
XS
make no
advert.
sense.
Yeah.
Like perfume
literally,
adverts will
like-
just have a dude, like
Why
some
is he got a
famous
safe
guy,
room like that?
Literally.
walking about with a tiger, and then like
so wait
I
there.
don't know,
It's
like
like-
something
it's like-
explodes, and it's like, oh, the new fragrance.
It's like the no Paco Rabanne. Spray on your dick. And women die.
The one that always confused the fuck out of me that I saw a
Spray
lot.
on your
Why would you
pinky.
spray it on your dick? That would,
Yeah, it's
surely that would sting.
Spray on. Do you know what it is? The spray by. It's actually a metaphor. No, it's basically like it's just like an interpretation of what happened was he used the Paco Rabanne spray, sprayed it on his dick, which gave him irritation, which then like developed into some sort of infection,
And then killed him.
And then it
these
became airborne.
Yeah, so no, these are all. That's all like a metaphor. That's like all of his sexual partners. So like yeah, it's
and
just
they're all
that's what
dying.
happened. Yeah, they all died.
So see you.
You've been Paco Rabanne, mate. You've been Paco Rabanne.
I know. You've been, mate, the worst thing ever. Just back for the clinic.
I've got Paco.
I've been.
I've got the packs.
I've got the Paco, mate. Oh, mate. I've got the Rabanne hutch, like.
They're a Barry Rash, mate.
Mate, I've got the Paco rash.
Got a good case of Paco dick there.
Was he? Has he got one of them Paco dicks? Oh, Jesus Christ. Why has he got a room in his house like that, though? Why is he like, I've got a wee safe room? What the hell is he doing?
That's why they don't make any sense.
I know.
Do you know which one I thought it made no sense? And it was one, it had Johnny Depp in it. And he's like dressed up in like a fucking waistcoat and a shirt and everything. He's got this weird jewelry around his neck. And he's just like driving down the road and he's just like, nah. And he just turns off, digs a hole, drops his jewelry in it, and digs back over the hole. And he's just there, he's got sleeves up and down, and just like, with his shovel. And he's just, and it's just like, I think it was like Dolce & Gabbana. And I was like, what the hell was that?
Have you ever seen the Brad Pitt one where he first revealed that he's aged like 40 years in a year? It was, I can't remember what, let's just say it was Calvin Klein. It wasn't, but it was like Calvin Klein. And it just like comes out and he's like, it was literally like Old Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Between Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 4. That's what happened to Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt had a presidency. You ever seen that? It's just like the presidents are just like, herp. They just
Oh,
literally
man.
go from Solid Snake to Old Snake within
Yeah.
like a term.
Yeah.
They do. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I saw Derek Lewis posted a funny Instagram post the other day when he had it was basically a kids choir and they were like, "What's that?" Something nene. What is it? The song?
Oh, is it the
Watch Me Whip.
Watch me
Watch
whip,
Me
watch
Nene.
me
Watch
thingy
me
about-
whip, watch me. But it's like a choir, like watch me whip, watch me nene. And it was like in a school choir, and they're like that. And then it just cut to Barack Obama, like he was just like, every time I think about those kids. Like,
Dude, he's got one of the best Twitters, man. I seen one today he posted where it's literally just a bunch of Santa Clauses fighting in New York.
His Instagram is.
It's just
excellent.
insane. His Instagram.
Although
is
he has none of his own content, he just literally like steals everything.
Yeah, it's
from
pretty
you
much
go.
every famous
Instagram, yeah.
Instagram.
Should I start doing that? Should I start just ripping off
No.
other people's content? But I want followers though.
Yeah, but like you don't do it.
He's got like 2.5 mil.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
I
but
want,
it's just
I want,
scummy, isn't
dude.
it?
His,
It is.
to be fair,
It
his
is.
followers, he only had like 500,000 before he did the balls was hot.
My balls was hot.
And now all of a sudden he's literally he's going in movies and shit now. That's
You just gotta become a meme and then you're famous.
Yeah,
it
okay.
literally is. You
So,
know what it is? We've
lit-
come full circle.
Yeah.
We've come full circle because it goes back to what we were saying at the beginning, which was be yourself.
There you go.
Do your thing.
Be yourself.
His balls were hot.
If your balls are hot,
Let
take
everyone
off your
know.
trousers.
Let them know, and you'll get famous and be in movies.
Yep.
And you'll
And
be a
have
meme.
loads of Instagram followers.
Yep. All right. So, hot balls. All right.
I think that's a perfect way to
Let's
the
end it
podcast
right there.
on
All right,
hot
this has
balls.
been the Joe Hendry Show. Thanks to our sponsors, Beer 52. Thanks to
.com/Hendry.
Exactly, beer52.com/Hendry. Also, they're not sponsoring this podcast because, it was an 8-week sponsorship.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give them a shout out anyway.
Wow.
Because look at that beautiful title belt right there. So, shout
nice
out to
looking
Fight
belt.
Forever, who had one of the best crews ever. Make sure you get their shows bought up. February and March. Defiant also, check out their shows. We're going to be doing those. WS tour coming up as well. But yes, this has been the Joe Hendry. Yes, this has been the Joe Hendry Show, episode 28, and we shall see you next time.
What's your social media?
All right, my social media: twitter.com/Joe S. Hendry, Instagram.com/Joe Hendry. But the main way to support is to go to hendryshop.com. But also make sure you subscribe to this and do all that stuff. You guys.
I am at the Dave Conrad on Twitter, Dave Conrad Official on Instagram and Facebook. I'm looking to come to 2019 with a bang. If you want me at promotions in your local area, let your promoters know. And we can discuss things.
There you go. And I'm just the Jabicus on Twitter and Twitch.
But you know the drill, Jay.
You gotta do the sign off, bro.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit that like button, and smash that bell.